Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 76. We made it back down 2 straight days.
Could be 3.
Could be 3, question mark. So I'm your host back in the basement with my co-host and teenage son, correct?
I think so.
Can confirm. Jackson, say hello, Jack.
76 is more than 75. One more, actually. Not a lot of people know that.
It's true.
Yeah. Honestly, if we had school Monday, I would probably be like, yeah, we'll record 3 days in a row, but it is pushed back a bit, so I mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just got your mom just sent me a message about how they're just going to stop tracking the numbers in schools because they just, numbers are skyrocketing where we live and they don't like the numbers, so they're just going to stop counting and reporting the cases in schools, which makes everyone feel super safe, but that's their logic and their strategy. So anyways, who really cares?
Yep,
we're just
that
going to
makes
get
sense.
through it no matter what, right? So, but yeah, we are back. In case you missed it yesterday, we put out our best of 2021 episode, so wherever you're listening to this, you can find that. If you didn't see it already, would appreciate the listen, and any feedback you have for us. Well, what do you want to banter
If you
about
want
today?
to ridicule our choices, insult me on everyone, I would
Right?
welcome that.
Yes, because there wasn't a
That'd be
lot
fun.
of variation in our choices. There's a lot of consensus, but still, some different reasoning and stuff provided, I guess. And it is New Year's Day now, so Happy New Year's again. But
Yeah.
we had a pretty laid back New Year's, right? We just made
Watch
some
Dick
pizzas.
Clark.
Made some pizzas from scratch, then had some snacks later on in the night and did our usual thing, which is watch Dick Clark's whatever New Year's thing and rip on most of the pop.
Oh, I rip on. Although they
because-
started good this year. Well, they didn't have a lot of variety this year because COVID.
Right.
Like, I feel like even last year they were able to get more people, so it was a little bit.
And who was the co-host introduced to us as a social superstar?
Liza Koshy,
Which is
who I do know who that is, but even I was not prepared for how irritated I would be
I
throughout the night.
aspire to be introduced ever as a social superstar because I don't know what that means, but that sounds
Just say
fantastic.
like social media person. or something.
Guru,
I honestly like
megastar.
social
I don't know.
superstar is just so like.
I sound like such a boomer because I just don't have social media, so I don't get.
No, even I don't think I've ever heard that kind of wording before. I think it's very odd.
Yeah, so we stayed up, watched the ball drop, whatever, celebrated the new year, and then you guys slept in. I got up at my usual
I
time.
was up very late.
And we're supposed to get a big dump of snow tonight into tomorrow, so I think snowboarding for you guys should be a lot better because
Yeah.
you got passes at the local hill last week.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that.
So that you guys,
yesterday,
back into snowboarding, which is great. Me and your mother and the neighbors down the street can just drop you off at the hill and you enjoyed when it's at night, right? Night, I always say skiing. I default to skiing because that's what I do. But snowboarding, riding, I think the cool kids call it. I don't know.
Sure.
But anyways, it's a cool activity you can do to get some exercise, get outside, and be relatively safe in our COVID-infested province that we live in right now.
Yeah.
But so that's pretty exciting. Other than that, I don't know. We're just kind of enjoying the weekend. We were going to walk over to Booster Juice after this, but your mother pointed out to us, hey, dummies, it's New Year's Day. Stuff's not open.
Yeah, that's because I'm not
That
smart.
tracks, right? That's because we're not smart together. We're just like, what? Our routine is record podcast. Go get Booster Juice. Why Booster Juice no cooperate with our routine, right?
Yeah, that's pretty inconsiderate of them, actually.
I think so. They should have consulted us at least, gotten our permission to close.
Or like have one person there, so then like just us. Right?
Honestly, just make the smoothies, leave it sitting outside the door. It's cold enough. It probably would have stayed fine, and we could have just picked it up.
Yep.
Is that too much to ask?
Yeah,
Booster Juice?
Honestly. Oh, I also forgot to mention I had 2 bubble teas yesterday.
You
Actually,
did.
no, we don't mention that.
Because I could hear you when I listened back to the podcast last night. I could hear your straw squeaking and.
Well, it's because like
whatnot.
sometimes you want to drink the bubbles, but then sometimes you don't want to drink the bubbles.
And you'd
right?
reposition the straw to
Yes.
do so. Yes.
Exactly.
I grasped the concept as the guy listening back to. It wasn't terrible, actually. It's about the same as your Lego figures or wrestling figures clicking on the table every week that people probably. Maybe they find it soothing. I told
ASMR.
you I did kind of accidentally check out some ASMR because I was looking at mic reviews and I didn't
accidentally check out some ASMR.
I didn't notice that it was a mic review using ASMR because I'm a nerd and I watch mic reviews and whatnot. So
Right.
it was interesting to see. I could see how people like it. I felt a bit strange watching it, but I could see people using it for relaxation and sleep and stuff, I guess, because it was fairly relaxing. It was just a girl whispering and like tapping on things and scraping things and like getting bubble wrap.
We could get into that business, right?
We could get into that for sure.
I'd be getting to go like.
But yeah, I mean, on the surface, I'm not gonna lie, it sounded kind of ridiculous to me, but I could see how it's relaxing and probably helps some people sleep. So I stumbled across some ASMR. Can't say I'm gonna be into it in the future, but you never know.
Yeah, that's just that's yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about as I sip coffee?
Well, so in figuring it out, I'll probably talk about, because I did say last week I'll mention
down
all the
what you
Christmas
got.
stuff, and then on Boxing Day, I did decide to go out again, which was less of a stupid decision this time because I did not go to the biggest mall we know.
Right.
And I came home with 5 AEW figures.
You did.
One of which is
which
here.
we had to return some anyways, because as you progress in your figure collecting career,
the funny part is the ones that you had to return were ones you also got me for Christmas. So
right.
You bought them twice.
Right.
Which I think is really funny.
But the thing is, we used to know when you were relatively new to collecting, or at least I could tell Mom like which ones you had and didn't have, right? But now it's an absolute crapshoot because I have no idea. You have so many. You're such a spoiled child. That I can't keep track of what you have and don't have.
The good news is, though, I'm very specific when it comes to the...
Yes, and the duplicates were my fault because Mom told me she had already gotten you Series 4, and for whatever reason I gapped on that piece of information or didn't look to see that they were Series 4 that I was getting again, because there were some Series 6 there too. So I think I just thought they were all Series 6 and never checked and then just grabbed a bunch. So anyways, I was trying, but it all worked out for you anyways, right?
Yeah,
you can't
we'll
complain.
Talk about that
later. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about, or should we get into talking about some wrestling from this week?
Yeah, I can think of anything else. So yep, let's get started.
So let's move into talking about the first thing we do every week, which is looking at the week's news and rumors. Ratings time. Start out with NXT as I always do. Tuesdays, live New Year's Evil go-home edition, I guess technically, of NXT 2.0 drew 662,000 viewers. So that's up a healthy 12.01% for them. Earned a 0.16 in the 18 to 49 demographic they all care about so much. That was up
the key demo.
That's it. Up a whopping 45.45%. And it was the best audience since their Halloween Havoc episode, the fourth best viewership and demo rating since the rebrand to 2.0. I think that was in September, right? If I remember correctly. Close to it.
Yeah, somewhere around then, yeah.
So a good week for NXT, really. I mean, overall, those numbers aren't amazing, but they're up, right? So I think that's what they're going for ahead of New Year's Evil next week, which at least has one match that I will for sure tune into, and you said you will even as well, which gets us Walter Riddle, kind of with some extended people around it.
In some capacity.
We get MSK as well and Imperium, which is fine. I mean, that should be a good match.
There's a good talent pool.
I think so too.
As you'd say.
As they say. Wednesday's live New Year's Smash edition of AEW Dynamite drew 975,000 viewers, so down 4.41%. Earned a 0.37 in the key demo, which is exactly the same as last week. So it's their best key demo viewership since October 27th, like tied for it, obviously. And to their credit, there was stiff competition from college football, which I think was in their somewhat convoluted playoff system, and NBA basketball. So pretty good numbers for both companies and programs this week, which is always nice. More eyes on wrestling is never a bad thing.
As someone who doesn't like sports, I'd rather watch college football than NXT.
Wow, that is a bold statement for sure. Yeah, anything from you?
In quite funny news, apparently a horrible AJ Styles versus Omos match was reportedly cut from this week's Raw.
Oh, really?
Past week's Raw. Right, because it was advertised last week when they kind of split. So it was advertised for this week. Then it became, then Styles was, I guess that was bad, and then they said him to face Commander Aziz, but then he ended up facing Apollo Crews.
Yes.
And all I'm gonna say is AJ Styles is not one to have horrible matches.
Right, I was just gonna say that.
So
if AJ Styles can't pull out an acceptable, and let's be honest, this doesn't need to be up to like AEW pay-per-view standards. This is main roster WWE. It's not like it has to be a 5-star match.
Anything passable.
Right. And AJ Styles is amazing. So So how did it get cut? Was it not a live show? I'm confused.
I don't know. It was the day after Boxing Day. I think it was an MSU, and I don't know how that was cut. I guess it was taped or
Must have
something.
been. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Maybe,
mean,
maybe they taped it when they taped Christmas SmackDown.
they've done a really
I don't
good
know.
job of sort of inching Omos along, but apparently
Not good enough.
no, man, he doesn't. And I've heard the other big guy that's with
Jinder.
Apollo Crews,
Oh, Baba Tunde.
which is what
Or Daba Keita or Commander Z.
there you go. I've heard he's like unbelievably bad, like Great Khali levels of bad.
Yeah,
which
looks
is
like him too.
which is about. I'm trying to think if Khali's like the worst wrestler I remember seeing that got considerable attention. Right? I don't know if there's anybody worse than him that I could
I don't know how
off the top
there's
of my head,
anyone-
as they say.
I don't know how there's anyone worse than him.
He
Let's
was
just say
unbelievable. I believe you had this one too, but I'm going to steal it from you. WWE reveals
thievery.
the new name of the NXT title belt. So there's a unification match, right? Between Carmelo Hayes and Roderick Strong.
Yes.
They're going to unify the North American and Cruiserweight championships.
Yes.
So
They're
theory
gonna make a new title.
my theory was one would be absorbed and it would just be gone, which
Right,
is
that's what-
kind of true.
That's what I was thinking, right? And I think that just works more because I think they're kind of moving away from cruiserweight title, right? They would naturally absorb that into the North American title, and then if they feel the need, which they usually do, to create a new title in place, then you could just go with like I don't know something else.
My
like
idea was
openweight.
open weight, right? Like keep that title, make it open weight, so now it's for everybody. But and this makes me laugh because this is a company who's like on the record saying they now just want big people, right? Especially in NXT,
on this brand, right?
they want big people.
They want to develop those people, right?
So with that, they've decided to make this new unified belt the North American Cruiserweight title. So
Just
go ahead,
combining the
react to
titles.
that. How do you feel?
I thought this was very funny when I saw this.
It
'cause
is
it's just,
ridiculous.
It's really stupid. Like, A, that's just too many words. B, I thought the whole point was we're ditching the cruiserweight
Right.
title, and like I don't know if you're gonna unify the titles into new title, at least make it a new title.
Right, like they're I thought they were finding a way, which I was fine with, of getting rid of a title that is absolutely meaningless. Right, the cruiserweight championship right now. No offense to Roddy Strong, he's awesome, but the belt itself is pretty much worthless. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. They're just gonna absorb it. It's gonna be
I swear to
gone.
God, if they have to make a new title for this and they get rid of the North American title, I'm gonna lose my mind because that title is awesome.
And not only are they getting rid of a
beautiful.
belt that's useless, but they're getting rid of a weight division because it doesn't make sense anymore because they don't want small guys.
But then they're keeping it
So they added a weight limit to a more prominent title,
in a better looking title.
is how I feel, right? So you've taken a title that has a little bit of pedigree to it, and now you're making it cruiserweight only. So I don't know what they're doing here. It seems really counterintuitive to what they've been telling us for a couple months now. But I mean, expecting WWE to make logical decisions, I mean, that's on us, right? Why are we expecting?
This is far from logical.
So I don't know. It makes no sense to me, but we'll see what happens going forward. What do you have since I stole that one from you?
I'll steal one back. WWE did release Toni Storm,
They sure did. Well,
which is
I
pretty
mean,
nice.
or she left the company, right? There's sort of mixed reports on what it was. It said that she quit WWE this week, and then the company granted her release, but it's unknown what her no compete is. So Dave Meltzer noted that another story going around is that Storm was never booked for the house show, but it was a last minute call to go and show up and wrestle, and so she did, and then she basically paid for her own flight home right away. Added that she's walking away from a good main roster contract. This is Meltzer still. That the main reason going around for her exit is that she just felt burned out. And a few weeks ago, I don't know if it's related or not, but she had sort of talked about her frustration about having to sit in catering on SmackDown every week, right? Like
she was in a feud of Charlotte though.
And I thought that she got used more than some people do, right? I mean,
Right.
I don't watch a lot of main roster, but I just see commentary and hear commentary.
Yeah,
and
she
stuff.
had a title match against Charlotte, and she was doing stuff with Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she's not happy with her push or lack thereof, and whatever. If you're not happy and you want out, listen. With WWE releasing whatever people constantly, I have no issue with the talent going, I'm done with you, right? If the corporation can do that, then so can the people working there, right? If the bosses can just cut you on a moment's notice and suddenly your contract is meaningless, which is what they're doing, right? We'll sign you to a contract for X number of years, but the minute we feel like firing you, we'll just fire you. So I have no problem with talent exercising their right to do the same.
I am kind of disappointed that she's gone, because now there's the potential that she shows up in AEW, which is the last thing I want.
She hasn't always looked bad though. I don't understand because I agree she didn't look good in NXT when we watched her, but I've seen her look good before, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. There's potential there. I've rarely
seen her look good. Like, she looks solid sometimes, but I think most of the time she does not look good, and I believe she's very overrated.
And she looks like a star making her entrance. We always say that, right?
The entrance.
She looks
good.
Cool, but then the bell rings. That as
entrance, yes, exactly. I'm thinking that's what we said.
Yeah,
that entrance was based on her, and she's very overrated in my opinion. I think people seem to love her, and I just
she could have been on her overrated.
I forgot about her. Yeah, but.
Honorable mention.
Oh wait, no, that's on worst of actually. So
that would be.
We
worst
can still throw her
Add
in.
Her in there.
We can still throw her in.
WWE is reportedly sounds like the school system up here. They have reportedly stopped testing their talents for COVID-19. So same thing. They're going with the strategy of listen. Too many people are testing positive.
We don't want to look bad.
So the way to stop that is just to stop testing, right? So Fightful Select reports that the move came down over the holiday weekend, with developmental talent at WWE Performance Center being notified that the COVID testing would no longer be mandatory. Prior to that, they'd been tested twice each week. So the only way now that talent will be tested is if they're showing symptoms, and this is my own editorial, for an illness that is highly transmissible, with many patients being asymptomatic, right? So what that means is
it could still go around without you even noticing.
Right. So just testing people who are showing symptoms, again, is a way to keep your numbers down, but it's not a way of stopping transmission. So interesting strategy. So despite
but what's more important than them?
Numbers on the rise across the country, WWE's decided to stop testing. They're just sick of having talent miss events, right? So if they stop testing, they'll stop getting positive results, and talent will stop having to miss shows.
And speaking of, day one is tonight.
It's better for their business, worse for their employees. Yeah, we'll see how many employees are around for the pay-per-view tonight. Anything else you have?
We were saying it could be interesting. We could get a repeat of, remember that good episode of SmackDown in 2019?
That is funny. That is the last time I remember, like, overwhelmingly popular opinion, like positive opinions on SmackDown is when, what was it, a volcano?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was a volcano.
I thought, wasn't it something with the travel?
Yes, but
whatever?
I think, I don't know. I don't know why I think
airline or whatever.
Volcano. It
but,
could be.
In Saudi Arabia, right? And
but
so
they booked
NXT,
it on the fly, right?
Remember that? Yeah, and they had Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan. Like, that's awesome. And like Ciampa beat Miz, and Riddle did stuff too, and Keith Lee was there.
And that could be what we're getting tonight, right? We don't know at night one, or what was it called? Is that what it is?
Day one.
Day one, whatever.
Well, now I would want the opposite of NXT people coming on the main roster.
Right. So who knows what's going to happen tonight? We're going to preview it as though it's going to happen as they plan, but we don't really know what we're going to get.
It may make for some interesting stuff.
Right. Any other news from you?
Bryan Danielson apparently wants to wrestle ROH World Champ Jonathan Gresham.
That would be amazing.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. It would be a lot of holds and counters, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind when each of them have a knowledge of a million different holds and counters. That's cool, right? But yeah, that would be neat.
Right.
And Danielson would be the big man in that, which is interesting.
Yes.
Although Gresham is ripped, I shouldn't say that. He's the taller man. He's not necessarily the bigger man.
Yeah.
Nia Jax comments on the scripted nature. What? Of Total Divas? Really? It's not just entirely reality?
I'm shocked. I think Nia Jax is just bitter.
File this under shocking. And she said she plans to, here's one of my least, as an old man, here's one of my least favorite common phrases, but plans to, quote, spill the tea, unquote, on Renee Paquette's podcast. So
why would anyone want Nia Jax on their podcast?
She fielded questions on Instagram. This is Nia Jax. And when she was asked how scripted Total Divas is, her simple reply was a percent. Do you care to guess what percent she said is scripted?
95%.
Too low, but very close.
100%.
98%. And then she just said she's looking forward to discussing things further with Renee Paquette. So that, like, it's what we've always known, right? But it would be nice if it's out there. Like, reality TV is not reality. And Total Divas is probably one of the worst offenders where it's really...
Survivor?
I mean, it's real in terms of they're reacting and stuff, but I think the situations and things are manipulated by the production team and whatever, right? They're sort of putting them in certain situations, right. I think. And I mean, I don't know if anybody behaves the way they would naturally knowing that you're on camera, right? Like if I told you suddenly tomorrow 24 hours of your day is going to be filmed and broadcasted, I bet you wouldn't behave naturally, right? When you were aware of the cameras there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how real any reality TV is. But anyways, any other news from you?
WWE has delayed their return to our neck of the woods, Canada,
Yep.
until 2022.
Yep, because there's COVID concerns, crossing border concerns, all that good stuff, right? So
why don't we only just test people with symptoms? Then we're good.
That's right. That's how we're doing it. And then the final thing from me, and we sort of talked about it before, the big thing going on right now is the Big Swole, Tony Khan, and others controversy, where Big Swole...
I think I have one more after.
She had a whole bunch of... I think it came out on a podcast somewhere, but anyways.
Yeah,
her issues with AEW, how her contract she decided not to renew, and that basically there's diversity issues. She doesn't see enough people of color in important positions, I think. Tony Khan kind of fired back by listing a whole bunch of people of color, including himself and another person of color on the board, and then listing a bunch of the talent of color, and then sort of taking a little bit of a shot at her and saying the reason her contract wasn't renewed is because her in-ring work just didn't measure up to what he wanted.
I think that is very accurate.
I do as well. She wasn't good in the ring, and we were critical of her, but I don't think she's completely out of left field with her lack of diversity comments, and I don't think him then kind of personal attacking on... Bottom line, both people could keep this conversation private, right? Would be my one starting point, is why does this have to become public consumption? So then Lio Rush basically took exception to Tony Khan's shot there, demanded an apology. He's tweeting stuff about being pissed off now. Then you had other people sort of coming to Tony Khan's defense in Powerhouse Hobbs, right? Jade Cargill, who is the guy from Dark?
Sean Dean.
Right, and he actually has a backstage role, so he's trying to say, like, I am a man of color and I am in a position of power within the company sort of thing. So, but the bottom line, like I said, Swole's saying her child, I can't remember if it's male or female, it doesn't matter, is saying things like, I don't see myself represented when I watch AEW, but I do when I watch WWE, because they've got Roman Reigns, Big E, Lashley's in a prominent role, right? So, I can kind of, like, I get what Khan's saying, I got rid of you because you're not good in ring, but I can see, like, you can't really dismiss how Big Swole is feeling, and I think Lio Rush is sort of saying he feels the same way, and I think their issue is they don't want their point of view and opinion to just be dismissed like this, right? And that just rhyming off a bunch of people of color who, let's be honest, if you look at that list, they're not in prominent positions right now. They're not champions. They're not number one contenders, right? They're maybe up and comers and whatever. But what I think she's saying is that in the top levels of the company and in the top tiers of the talent, you're not seeing an equitable distribution, and maybe she's not wrong. It's at least something that could be acknowledged and looked at and not dismissed, I would suggest. So
yeah,
I'm sure more is going to come out of this. It's kind of early on in this controversy, so we'll see where it goes.
Yep.
What else did you have?
Last one was I did see that Seth Rollins tested positive.
Yes, he did.
Which, I mean, I'm not sure how it is now because it was reported on Boxing Day.
Mm-hmm.
I saw, so
So was he scheduled for a match tonight?
He was the original challenger for Big E, and then they added Kevin Owens to that match, and then they
Just
had
in
Bobby
case.
Lashley for the match. No, they added them a while ago.
But like,
it's been a 4-way.
Are they still saying it's Rollins though tonight?
I don't know.
As of now,
I don't know.
Yeah. So
Hold on.
I find it interesting which talent, because for a while it's like you're not allowed to say that you have COVID, right? But certain talents are, maybe just they're big enough that they can say what they want, and what can WWE do about it? Because Seth Rollins is one of their big guys, right? So what are they going to do about it, sort of thing?
They got like a poster thing with people holding up number 1. Seth Rollins is still one of the posters.
Okay.
So that's from,
in theory, he'll
2
be there?
hours ago.
Okay.
So I don't know. In theory, he's still advertised.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of really interested in the show just to see. I almost want it to be...
Yeah, I'm interested in it for all the wrong reasons.
Right, like a bit of a dumpster fire, because it might be better if they just throw... Like, imagine they have to, like... I don't know, I think he's scheduled for the opener, but if they have to put Ricochet in some sort of high-profile match now...
Oh, Ricochet's on the kickoff.
I know, that's what I just said. But I might imagine, because of all people can't be there, it's suddenly like, he's in a killer match with, like, Cedric Alexander. Like, 2 guys that can go like crazy in the ring.
I was saying the last time they did this was TLC 2017, or like one of the last times they had to make like last minute substitutions.
Yes.
Was that so it did turn out well with Finn Balor versus AJ Styles, and then
It did.
the other case on that night we don't speak of.
So I'm interested in the pay-per-view, but not for the reasons they want me to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
And I feel like it could be a one-off pay-per-view concept. It honestly depends on what day New Year's is next year. Because I feel like if it's on a weekend, they'll probably bring this back.
It could be. It could have, like, if it gets enough people
I don't know
out.
why they did this. I don't know why they just didn't do New Year's Revolution again.
It could be
so
like
much better.
It could feel like an indie show, right? Where it's basically like whoever's here and available, we're throwing them in without any story really or context. Just have a match sort of thing. Right. I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I am tapped out for news. How about you?
Me too.
All right, so let's move into what our only really in-depth review will be this week, because UK didn't really put out a regular show, but AEW Dynamite did. So let's get to our review of that.
And our opener for this week's show is they advertised like a couple days before a 10-man tag pitting Christian Cage, Jurassic Express, and Lucha Bros versus Hardy Party, which is Matt Hardy and Private Party, and FTR.
Poor FTR, I feel, right? Having to team up with these jobbers, but anyways.
I mean, at least George Joel's not in the match, right?
Yeah, I forget that guy exists some of the time.
I don't even know who he is. Like,
he's a guy.
I know he's in HFO, but I don't actually know who he is.
I don't think we've seen him do anything, but
I think he was in like one really big tag match.
I think you're right.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I know he's a dark regular, so I mean, good for him.
Yep, it's a start.
And this was another one of their pretty fun and frenzied multi-man tag matches. Made for a good opener. Some of the notables from the match: there were some holds and counters between Christian Cage and Cash early on. Jungle Boy hits a flurry to Dax, then takes a shot. Who then takes a shot from each babyface, and then Cage tags back in. Cash hits a basement dropkick to knock Jungle Boy off of a snare trap attempt on Dax, which I thought was kind of cool.
It was.
Quinn does like the Hurricane Rana, which would normally set up Gin and Juice, but instead it was Matt Hardy with the side effect for 2. And that was only a 2 count. I know that's really surprising.
They always act like the side effect has won so many matches.
It has, okay?
0. Approximately 0.
How dare you?
I set the over-under at half a match.
Half, yes.
So the under is the bet, probably.
I remember Roman Reigns when he was a babyface would always do that when he pinned him off a Superman punch.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he only won one match with a Superman punch, and
right.
I know that because I remember, because I don't think he's ever won with a Superman punch.
So the one time stuck out for you. Makes
right, because like no one else wins with a Superman punch other than Orange Cassidy. Even then, I don't know if that's true. Anyways, FTR kind of, they do like a double team decapitator Jungle Boy, but instead of the rope, it was under the bottom turnbuckle,
nice
which I thought was kind of
yep.
cool. A great flurry from Penta off of a hot tag, and then he kind of hits a tag flurry when he tags in Phoenix. Later on, we get another hot tag flurry from Luchasaurus. There's a spinny dive doohickey to the outside by Phoenix.
And you've noticed he's toned down his kicks on the hot tags, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of like corner clotheslines and stuff. Where are the kicks at, man?
No, it's like the Big Show thing where he just runs in the corner and just like it's like a backsplash.
Right.
That. And but I noticed, yeah, he's definitely toned down and stuff, he didn't even do a moonsault.
Because the crowd wants him for the hot tag, like they're chanting Luchasaurus, and then he's not quite. I mean, it's still cool, but he's not doing as much cool stuff as he used to.
Right.
Seems to me.
And the finish comes when Cage blind tags Penta as he's gearing up for a finish, like disrespectful.
Right.
And then FTR shove Cage, which sends Penta out of the ring, and they hit Cage with a smash contraption for the win, and that's what you get when you mess with my boy.
You were
right?
so happy that Christian got hit. I was
very happy because I was like,
I know we call it smash contraption. What's the actual?
Big rig.
Oh, big rig.
Right
smash
now.
contraption's way better.
I know.
Let's be real.
Right, because instead of
Shatter
Machine. Oh my god, I totally forgot. Right.
My AEW version is smash contraption.
Obviously, right? I remember I was saying like, Christian Cage should get pinned. I hope Christian Cage gets pinned, and you're like, no, it's probably gonna be like one of the Private Party guys or Matt Hardy, and then he tags out off of Penta. I'm like, you bastard, and then he just gets wrecked, and I'm just like, sucks to suck.
You were very happy.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I thought this was a fun opening match. It kind of felt like people were just sort of thrown together a little bit. Like I don't know why is FTR with HFO. Am I missing something?
Because Lucha Bros are here,
I guess. I thought things really picked up when the Lucha Brothers got involved in the match. And then it stayed pretty interesting from there right to the end. The crowd really loved Luchasaurus hot tags, but again, I feel they're not quite as hot as they used to be. and they kept Matt Hardy's involvement, I thought, kind of minimal, which is pretty smart at this point in his career. I do like FTR picking up a win here because we talk about they tend to lose a fair amount. I don't really think it hurts them that much, but I do like to see them win as well because they're awesome. So I thought this was like, remember, it's a flashback to there were several weeks where Dynamite just always started with crazy. I want to say it was
either early this year or like sometime last year.
So it felt like we were kind of back to that with a multi-man tag to start. I just don't know why these teams were together, but that's okay. I enjoyed the match. You?
Yeah, the combinations were a little like, I mean, I guess like it was also Jurassic Express are the number one contenders.
Yes.
To Lucha Bros, I guess. But I thought it was a solid opener, another fairly strong multi-man tag from AEW. Even though it started out a little slower, I still thought the beginning was pretty good. As always, it descended into madness towards the end. A couple hot take flirts from Penta and Luchasaurus kept it interesting as well. And I like the finish being Christian Cage taking the fall. As realistically, I thought the chances of that happening were very low, and so did you.
You did celebrate for that one.
Suck it.
Take that,
I
Christian.
got what I wanted.
Right.
And we don't really get much because we're moving in right into another match, which is a trios match pitting Daniel Garcia and 2.0 versus Eddie Kingston, Proud and Powerful. Must say that's a nice little trio right there.
It is awesome.
Who are wearing face paint again, which like
so the face
don't even bother keeping it special anymore, guys. God,
you are the face paint fan of the universe, and you're saying they're too often wearing face paint, which I thought was interesting.
It was special, like when that Slammiversary in was that a Full Metal Mayhem or was it?
Oh my God, you're saying mayhem and you're not even noticing it.
No, I'm saying it on purpose.
Oh, you are. But
yes.
People don't know. Again, he's mocking Josh Matthews.
It is
from Impact.
Is always gonna be Full Metal Mayhem. Okay.
So I work with somebody who did I tell you this? Who I had to correct?
Maybe I think so.
Because she says mayhem and she didn't know it, so I had to correct her.
No, I say it on purpose now because it's just the best.
But the funny thing is, you're gonna say it for the rest of your life to people that don't know why you're saying it and think you just don't know how to say it.
Yeah, that'll be funny. But because I remember, because I think it was like a street fight against the OGs, right? Or
yes.
OGLEX.
Yes.
Which, hey, their manager was actually Eddie Kingston.
That's right.
But anyways, and there was, I remember where they were in the parking lot brawl too.
Which looked awesome.
Maybe blood and guts. Like, but the point is, it was for special occasions, and now they're wearing it like it's nobody's business.
Are you saying Wrestling 2.0 on Dynamite isn't a special occasion? Mid-card tag team plus Daniel Garcia is not a special occasion.
Daniel Garcia. Well, yeah, break out the face paint then.
Right.
But yeah, so I thought it was a pretty well-worked trios match, but it felt too short, in my opinion, and I think that shows in the notables.
Are you saying not so many notables?
No, just because it was short.
Oh, okay.
But yes, not many. I don't know if you can count to 4, but that's how many.
I used to be able to. We'll see.
Yeah, it's mind slipping.
It is a little.
So Kingston suplexes Matt Lee and then chases after Garcia right away. Like I find he just briefly takes out
Eddie Kingston's storytelling,
like
right?
Ever so slightly, and then just goes after Garcia.
Exactly, he's
I thought that
amazing.
was really funny.
Yep.
There's a nice combo by Proud and Powerful. 2.0 and Garcia are in control of Ortiz for a while until a hot tag to Kingston after the break. Machine gun chops to Garcia, but Kingston then exploder suplex to Lee. And pretty soon, the finish comes when Matt Lee dares to get the knees up on Santana's moonsault off of Ortiz's back. He dares to do that. He gets the knees up, and then a fistful of tights roll up for the sudden win.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, and then they beat up Santana after the match, which, I mean, that was disrespectful. And then they hit him with the ring bell, which was not very nice either. And then it gets better, just kidding, as Chris Jericho returns and chases them off with Floyd the baseball bat, and then argues with Eddie Kingston.
Right, so they're teasing that Kingston and Jericho don't get along, I guess.
I guess because Kingston didn't want the help, and Kingston's Eddie Kingston. He likes to do his things.
Right. I think Santana and Ortiz are tremendous. They deserve a title run at some point. And one of the things I noted was Eddie Kingston was entertaining me just even before he got in the ring, I think, and he's standing on the apron and he's just yelling across the ring at Daniel Garcia. Like, even that is entertaining to me.
Yeah.
And I think 2.0 are just great tag team mid-carders, right? Like, I've always loved them. I have no visions of them being, like, tag team champions or anything, but they serve a purpose, right? They
actually seem to have more of a purpose here.
They do.
Whereas
they're
still the same level of comedy, but I feel like they have a little more legitimacy.
100% agree. Things seemed to get a little confused near the finish, I thought. The outcome was somewhat surprising to me, but I hope they use the loss to unleash what I'm hoping is, like, we get, like, the vicious side of Santana and Ortiz, because they were already talking about
Because Kingston's already like that. Like, you can just flip the switch with him.
And they were already talking about kind of being tired of being overlooked and stuff, right? So I'm hoping this is further pushing them to just be monsters. I think Garcia is good, but I keep waiting for the match that makes me believe the hype surrounding this kid, right? Like, people in the business seem to love him. People are fans of him, but I just haven't quite seen that.
I think he's good, right?
I do too, but I'm waiting for that whole, like, oh, this guy's awesome, right?
I think I will keep waiting a bit, though, because I remember that always was the case with people. Kushida.
Yes, I'm not mad about it. I just want that breakout performance from him at some point.
I don't necessarily know how they could work into a story, but Parking Lot Brawl 2?
They could.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. Best Friends versus Undisputed Era Parking Lot Brawl. Yep,
because it could be you guys cheated to win, so let's go to a place where there is no cheating and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like maybe it'll work better with Best Friends because Sue's van. Right? And then Undisputed Era in a Parking Lot Brawl. That'd be pretty cool.
So I thought this was a solid match. I thought it was a bit of an odd choice maybe to have a multi-man tag match follow another one, but I was entertained. I kind of had no reaction to Jericho coming out to make the save.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's Chris Jericho.
I think I'm okay with Jericho being gone at this point. No offense to a good Canadian boy.
Let's just say I was more interested to see Colin Delaney than Chris Jericho.
It feels maybe like they're plugging him into the spot that Moxley's supposed to occupy right now. Right? I don't know, maybe not, because he didn't. There's issues between Jericho and Kingston.
But that I feel like was the write-off for the Fozzy tour, I think it was.
Yeah, that could be true. So I don't know. It might be just Eddie's next feud, I guess, right? Like, he's gonna fight Jericho, which doesn't interest me that much. But anyways.
Yeah, poor Edward Kingston.
It's not super interesting to me at this point, although all I need is Eddie Kingston to somehow cut a couple promos on whatever the next move is, and I'll probably buy in because he can convince me of anything. But yeah, I thought the match was pretty good. Again, could have gotten a bit more time. And weird to follow one multi-man with another, but I still enjoyed it.
Whoa, that one was a 10-man tag? Okay, this was a trios match.
Multi-man, that's all I'm saying. It's multi.
A trios.
Yes.
Trios. Which they did use that name, so it's very nice.
I feel like they're using it more often.
Which I'm
interpreting, because that's what I want, is that they're bringing those.
They're not stupid. They could easily call them 6-man tag matches.
Although maybe they've always called them trios, and I'm just noticing it.
They did sometimes, but they're definitely doing more. And I
feel like
because they could easily just keep going with the 6-man tag. I feel like like maybe it's like the CM Punk where they're like hinting at it because they're gonna deliver soon or something like that.
That's what I'm hoping too.
So I think that.
But that could be why I noticed trios, because I want it so badly. So I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Could be picking up on something that's not there.
Right.
But yeah, I thought this was pretty good for what it was, but definitely felt like it was cut off too soon. I love some of the offense from Power and Powerful. They're just so great here. Sometimes kind of like Lucha Bros, to be honest. I forget how great they are.
Yes.
Like how
they're
much
amazing.
I truly enjoy them. Like Lucha Bros is they're probably my favorite tag team, but right now, but like I just sometimes forget both of these teams. They're just great.
And Santana and Ortiz have gotten themselves in ridiculous shape. So I'm wondering if they know they're about to be focused on.
And I thought the finish was okay, as it's actually kind of in line with 2.0. I think they showed us that they pulled the same shtick in I think it was the 10-man tag at on Rampage.
Yeah.
It was them and the Acclaimed versus the Kingston, Santana, Ortiz. I want to say Lucha Bros.
Because they're the
or Jurassic Express.
They're the sneaky, overmatched heels, right? That do stuff like this to pick up wins. Because maybe they can't on ability. So I like it.
And Jericho's return did not really matter to me.
Agree.
In the slightest.
It's too bad, man. That used to be my favorite guy in all of wrestling forever. And now I'm like, it's time to relax, dude. Especially since there's so many underused people in AEW, right? They're not hurting for people to get on TV. So I don't know.
Right.
Whatever.
I mean, we were talking about, like, they're complaining about the lack of people of color and prominence. Replace Jericho, man.
Right.
Like, replace Sting, goddammit.
Yep.
Next we get a promo from MJF who's backstage with the Pinnacle. MJF, TR, and Wardlow. No, Spears is there, so I guess I have to call it the Pinnacle. Damn. He says they are here to talk about safe working conditions and talking about being tossed over the ropes out of the ring by Sting, who has not been trained or whatever. Or like he trained himself. I don't know. It was something about how Sting's not good or something. I don't know. It was something about he was just like a untrained goth. I don't remember.
I don't know. You're the one that took detailed notes on it.
He says the people want to see him face off with Punk, but Punk won't have it, and he ran away from MJF the whole match.
Right.
Which I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, nice interpretation.
He talks to Wardlow and says he should stop the powerbomb thing, focus on racking up wins to qualify for the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which he knows Wardlow will win, which Wardlow agrees with, and then he'll relinquish the TNT title shot to MJF.
Right. And then a lawyer comes in conveniently.
Mr. Sterling,
Right.
actually. Which, I mean, that's not completely random, because that's what they did with the Mox match last year, remember?
Yes.
So, it is at least a bit of continuity. It seems to be Sterling's general character.
Yep.
Just mostly working with Cargill nowadays. But Spears does bring Mark Sterling in to read Wardlow's contract, which basically says Wardlow just has to relinquish anything to MJF and whatnot.
Right.
So he says he'll also rack up wins to become the AEW World Champion. So then, he plans to be World Champion, but because he's MJF, he wants Wardlow to relinquish the TNT title shot to him.
Right.
Which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because he is better than you, and you know it.
It's true.
You better know it.
And I like because he kind of made reference to like his next contract signing is kind of looming, right? And that basically this idea that a bidding war is going to ensue, which it probably will. So I like that because it feels realistic, right? And he's kind of saying, listen, may not always be here. When my contract's up, everybody's going to want me because I'm amazing, right? So I kind of like that. And they can keep using that as leverage in storylines for him going forward. Bringing in the lawyer to me felt a little bit convenient because it's like, you have to do this, and Wardlow's going, as if, and here's the lawyer with the contract. I don't know. I get what you're saying.
MJF is very big brain.
I guess. I really liked how Wardlow just sat there looking at MJF saying nothing, right? So they're just sort of like, the slow burn continues because we're not
Definitely
getting...
feels like Batista a bit.
We're not getting a reaction from Wardlow, really, just kind of subtle stuff that I quite like the way he's playing it. So we'll see where this goes. I just feel like MJF has things on the go, right? Like he's got a lot of different stuff going on right now, but we'll see where it goes.
I'm surprised it was weird. We were thinking they would go to the rematch of Darby Allin and boom, CM Punk feud. Which, I mean, seems like they're moving on from that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I thought it was another solid promo from MJF. I thought the contract was kind of interesting. I like them already kind of talking about the Revolution Ladder match, which is like a couple or a few months away.
I'd forgotten about it already.
So it's a bit of a long term, but I think even if it's just by mention, as I said, it seems kind of planned in advance.
It's almost like that's where things could come to a head with Wardlow and MJF, right? They're sort of setting that goalpost for us to get to, and we'll see. I mean, maybe not, but...
Right, that was the one with the Sonic ring.
Is that right? With Scorpio Sky?
Yep. That's That's
it is 100% a Sonic ring.
Yeah, that's the match.
Makes sense.
Because that one is the Sonic ring, and then the casino ladder match is the giant poker chip.
Right.
And yeah.
Comically oversized objects is their
the poker chip. I'm
wheelhouse.
Okay with.
It makes sense.
But
the Sonic ring's funny.
The Sonic ring is funny.
Uh-huh.
I think. Or like, I don't know, because it's called the Face of the Revolution ladder match. So I'm just trying to think, like, what can you put?
A face.
What can just a random face?
Yeah. Why not just a contract? It's for a title shot. That's too simple, I guess.
A comically huge contract.
Comically huge, yes.
Yes. Or like I was thinking like a see-through thing, or like something like when the camera pans over you can see the person's face through the thing. So then it's their face when they're holding it.
Whoever climbs up and it takes a selfie of them first wins.
Whoever grabs it has to take a selfie.
Yes.
Yes, or something like that. Or I'm even thinking just like a giant mirror.
And it's Tyler Breeze surprise entrance.
It's Tyler Breeze.
With the selfie stick.
Nice.
Bringing it back.
Nice. That'd be funny. Next, we got a Lucha Bros interview, which is cut off by everyone's favorite dude who's here, Christian Cage.
Mm-hmm.
He says that they cost him the match, which is factually incorrect. And challenged Lucha Bros to defend against his guys. That is also factually incorrect. Jurassic Express next week. Penta, obviously translated through Alex Abrahantes, says Cage is supposed to be a legend, but can he be a good tag partner? That is factual.
Mm-hmm.
He says Jungle Boy is supposed to be the future, but he should let go of the past referring to Christian. That is also factual.
Penta, I thought he made some good points too.
Penta dropping the bombs.
He was. So I almost felt like, is this a subtle turn by the Lucha Bros? Because Christian and Jurassic Express...
I don't know, Christian seems a little aggressive too, to be fair.
True, and I still feel like he's turning on Jungle Boy at some point. I think that's coming. It's just, again, they like to drag things out.
I don't really care about that because Christian sucks.
So I kind of like the tone here because Penta was sort of like a little edgier, I guess.
I don't even mind that if
pun
they're baby
intended,
faces.
Edge and Christian.
Oh, roasted. I wouldn't even mind like if he's just kind of going like a little anti-hero on us.
For
I
sure.
don't mind that.
I just want a little bit of something out of the Lucha Bros because they are amazing, and heel Penta is where it's at. But
heel Penta is goated.
I thought this segment was good, actually. I liked it.
I remember we got the brief spell of heel Penta. Remember when he first brought in Alex?
Yep.
Because I remember he was feuding with Cody. Did he win? He better have won. I think he won. I want to say he won, but I don't know if he won.
And as we slowly work through our Lucha Underground, we're getting closer to Pentagon Dark, which you will enjoy. Just breaking people's arms every week.
Yeah, why can't he do that again?
It was awesome.
He could probably do it really good.
He could.
I hope he rips Christian Cage's arm off.
The problem is keeping him teamed with his brother because Phoenix cannot really, I don't believe him as a heel.
He can, but
Penta
then when you just get him in the ring, he's just
right. The stuff he does, you want to cheer for it.
Dude, these two could have a blood feud. I mean, they already had those 2 matches when Kingston was just trying to pit them against each other for fun.
But we've already forgotten about it, so put them back together. Like Phoenix babyface, Penta heel. I don't know. I'd be there for it again. But
yeah,
anyways.
And I would keep Alex with Penta because I think that would be a great heel act if I'm being honest.
Yeah, me too.
I think it works here too, but I think that would be a great heel act. I thought it was a solo segment as well. Penta was very nice. I think this will be a great match for next week. Lucha Bros Jurassic Express.
Yeah, I want to see that for sure.
Just hope Christian Cage is not there.
He's gonna cost Jurassic Express the match, and that's the turn.
I hope.
I don't know. That would be WWE because nobody can lose clean, right? But AEW
I hope
might.
Christian Cage is sick on Wednesday and nothing else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next we move to Wardlow versus a former WWE superstar, and I say super in every sense of the word.
Borderline Hall of Famer?
Yeah. Up and coming Hall of Famer, Colin Delaney.
Yes.
Which I thought was very funny. Yes, I'd rather see him than Chris Jericho.
Did you pick up on a term that commentary used a couple times that I don't like because it gave off major WWE vibes to me?
What?
Symphony of Power Bombs.
Oh,
They used it twice, and I'm I feel like that's something they're gonna be ramming down our throats that I don't like. But anyways, it's fine.
How would I describe this match?
Powerbomb.
Squash.
Powerbomb.
I could say powerbomb too. I don't think there's enough powerbombs. If there was more powerbombs, I could probably use that word, but I don't think I could. Notables. Let's see. It's a pretty tricky one. There's a lot to choose from, if I'm being honest. So I did have a tough time. So please, everyone, if you don't like my choice for notable stuff in this match, please do not be disgruntled. So there was a clothesline for Wardlow.
I'm the opposite. I'm gruntled.
A clothesline by Wardlow and then a powerbomb. That really surprised me. That's ambitious from him, you know?
Yep.
And then just because he likes to push the envelope, more powerbombs by Wardlow, and then he picks up the win. I really thought Colin Delaney had this one.
I thought your notable was going to be like the third powerbomb. But none of the other ones were notable. Just
right, like the third powerbomb.
The third one had some extra stink on it, or something.
When he set him up for the third powerbomb.
Because when he powerbombs him and sort of rolls him through, right?
Rolled him through. Yeah, okay, that's the only.
That's the notable one.
Or
the other
just
ones
the clothesline.
Just plain.
No, just his clothesline, nothing else.
Right.
Clothesline, and then he powerbombed him for the win, right?
So I don't know. Same thing they've been doing. We were complaining about it last week already, so they did it again. So I don't know how many weeks they can do the exact same thing before they advance this story somehow. I don't know if it's just
7.
because MJF's about to move into facing Wardlow, they're really building Wardlow as a monster.
This doesn't really help,
but
though.
There's other ways to do it, right? I think this needs to change sooner than later. I don't know. What about you?
I mean, crazy thought. You could actually kind of showcase more of his offense. That's a possibility.
Have him win decisively, but not just squashing jobbers every week, right? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it was just Wardlow hitting power bombs again. Nothing to see here really. Cool to see Colin Delaney though. That was kind of funny.
I guess so, yeah.
Next we get a backstage segment between Undisputed Era and the Bucks. Yeah, I'm referring to them as Undisputed Era. Deal with the chumps.
I did put UE in my notes as well.
That is exactly what I put. UE and Bucks. So Cole thinks that they will be the greatest group in AEW history. Yeah, just take the Bucks out of there, and then yes. No offense to the Bucks, but they're not undisputed.
Our tag team of the year.
That's true, but they're not undisputed. well, they're undisputed tag team of the year, but they're not this undisputed.
Right.
If you get what I'm saying.
I do.
Young Bucks said that Kyle has barely talked to them. Good for Kyle. Kyle said he needed to talk to Adam, then the Bucks leave, and then Fish leaves.
Yep.
Kyle says he knows that they have heat. They indeed do have heat. It's very hot.
Acknowledging previous companies. I like it.
But I really like
Subtly.
this. But the key to thriving and surviving in AEW is factions.
It is.
Which, that was awesome. Kyle said he knows Bobby Fish has his back, which that's true. And he guesses he'll find out if Cole does too. And I really like this because they didn't ignore anything, right? They addressed tension between Bucks and Red Dragon because they probably feud at some point. I don't really know. And it's cool they aren't ignoring Kyle O'Reilly and Cole's stuff earlier in NXT. Like, a lot of things what O'Reilly said just really made sense here. I thought it was really cool. Like, yeah, you're way more likely to survive if you're in a faction, and Undisputed Era is a phenomenal faction. I hope they do coexist, but I'll also settle for just Red Dragon if I have to, which is actually Redragon.
And they can coexist for a while and we'll enjoy it, and then they can splinter off into whatever direction and we'll enjoy it, right? They've got months of stuff they can do here. I thought Kyle was as good as Kyle's going to get. He's not Adam Cole on the mic, for sure. And I like you're saying, I like that AEW acknowledges guys existed before they got there, right? WWE has trouble with that. It's basically like, we're the only company that ever existed and we cannot acknowledge you or anywhere else. Or
they're a former world champion here. Or
in fact, we need to repackage you and change your name and whatever, right? So I think that they see it as like a weakness to acknowledge the existence of other companies, and AEW understands that, like, wrestling fans, even if, like, we're the classic example, we don't watch main roster, but we're keep up on it, right? We know what's going on in other companies, so they work it into storylines, which is smart. Again, it's the difference between treating your audience, in my opinion, like intelligent human beings, right, who watch other things and other companies,
and who want the continuity,
and then treating them like mindless idiots, which is basically what happens in WWE. So I thought this was cool as well.
Right. Yeah, I liked it, and we were saying, like, the way I spelled Red Dragon was capital R-E and then capital D on the dragon.
Yes.
So it's Redragon.
Redragon.
The dragon has been redragoned.
They were a dragon before, and now they're redragoning.
Right, exactly.
In the AEW.
Right.
They were a dragon, then not a dragon in WWE.
Right.
Now they're redragoning.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
So they're Redragon. I don't know who Red Dragon is. This is Redragon.
People just can't read.
Exactly. Next we get Dan Lambert and Men of the Year.
Well, and they just want to concentrate all of the good times in this one by adding somebody else that we love to see on our TV as well. But it's one of those things. Well, they took all the stuff I hate and put it in one segment. I guess that's the silver lining, right?
Lambert says his MMA business is a full-time job, yet here he is again.
Good point. Yet I take time every week to come here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he thought it'd be cool to come. It was not cool. So go away.
Yeah.
But there's nothing cool about Cody's entourage. That's pretty fair, actually. He roasts Arn Brandy, roasts the neck tattoo. Gotta love it. Like, he put the Transformers logo.
He had some funny lines this week, I have to say.
I don't like him whatsoever, but I'll take anyone who's roasting Brandy Rose and Cody's neck tattoo. Like, you gotta love it. He says Cody never made it until he cut a deal to be Tony Khan's pet project and cut the line ahead of better talent, and says even an idiot doesn't like what he's doing, referring to him getting booed a lot.
Right.
And then, because this was getting really boring, right? So to save the day, Brandy comes out and makes Paul Heyman crack, and she is still getting booed too. I mean, hey, who says they don't have diversity, right? She's in a prominent spot.
She is.
Not at all
for sure
favored. Lambert is actually getting cheered and Brandy is getting booed. What the hell is happening?
It's amazing.
You gotta really suck.
Because know that they thought this is the only way we can get the crowd on Brandy's side, right?
Right,
because the crowd hates her.
On the Rhodes family side,
but they hate Lambert so much that we'd have to find a way to shoehorn her into a segment, and she won't be the one booed. Loved it.
They prefer Lambert over Brandy Rhodes, which I don't disagree with particularly. All right. Brandy asked when the last time he got beat by a woman without paying was, and she'll do it for free. Ha 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 ha. Brandy says Lambert is a black belt and she is a black female dog. and she gears up to fight Lambert, which is what we all want to see, right?
Take my money.
Even though it's free.
Right.
The dream match
I'll just pay anyways. I'll donate.
Right. The dream match of the century.
For
Brandy
sure.
Rhodes versus Dan Lambert. She's a heel, right? She's wearing heels, AEW heels.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that caught on real well because they haven't talked about that
in ages.
In months. For sure.
I was gonna say, there's like that Cody Rhodes shirt where it's like babyface, heel, and then winner, and the winner has it's the box checked off, but it's with the Transformers logo. Transformers logo,
on his neck.
Yeah, but so that's like he's leaning into that. Anyways, Dustin Rhodes comes out to play Peacemaker because I don't know.
This is beneath Cody. It's basically what I took away from this, right? Like, Cody's not going to be trifling with Dan Lambert, so you go do it.
Yeah, I mean, he probably would want to defend his wife, but this is Dan Lambert we're talking about, right? So he does not want to be out there. And Ethan Page takes a cheap shot to, like, his back or whatever and then leaves, like, hardly does anything.
Right.
So good for him, I guess.
Yes. Is that it? I can't even remember. That's where it's... So... A few of the insults were funny. Some of them weren't.
I appreciate anyone insulting Cody's tattoo.
The part I hated about this was the antics of Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky beside Lambert. Like, at one point, Scorpio Sky drops to the ground and is rolling around in laughter. And then a couple seconds later, Ethan Page is, like, bowing to Dan Lambert when he's insulting Cody or whoever. So it just feels like it's Dan Lambert is the star, and they're like his lackeys, and that sucks because they're good. I don't like that presentation. And I just, again, it's how they thought they could get Brandy over with the crowd, and the crowd still was like, we're booing her, which I thought was funny. And again, the angle is beneath Cody, so Dustin comes out for whatever reason, right? I don't have any interest in this because I don't find either of the players here, that being Lambert and Brandy, to be likable in the slightest bit. So I don't really care what happens to either of them. I'm sure this is leading to Dustin facing whoever, maybe Paige
Dan
or
Lambert.
Sky or Lambert. But Brandy just kind of has go away heat for me.
They both do.
So I was not a fan of this overall, but I have to be honest, I hated it less than a lot of Lambert segments, right? I hate what it's doing to Sky and Paige, but this one was less bad than some other ones he's done. That's the nicest thing I could say. What did you think?
Well, all I can say is a Brandy Rhodes and Dan Lambert segment combined, like, they really know what I want.
Yeah,
like, I like to say they usually know what I want. This was no exception.
Give the
right?
fans what they want, boys.
Right. Give the people what they want. It says something about how much people hate Cody and his people if they're cheering Lambert. Like, honestly, like, I mean, Brandy Rhodes sucks, but if they were even liked Cody a bit, they would probably cheer her, but they cheered Lambert. So that's just hilarious to me. And I didn't like the promo, but I'll always appreciate Rose that Brandy or Cody's neck tattoos expense. Mm-hmm. That's just very nice topics to make fun of.
Makes sense.
But this is not needed even in the slightest. This will go nowhere but a Cody victory, which happened yesterday. And this was just meh. And next we get a Danielson Hangman video package. I didn't really take any extensive notes on this because I was just watching it. But it was just like commentary making talking about the last title match between these two, and then how there's going to be the judges this time, and they could go 60 minutes again. Yeah. Which wouldn't surprise me.
They were trying to like build interest in the judging aspect of it for a bit of this. Like, oh, who could the judges be? How are they going to decide to score? I don't care. This whole judge thing I think is stupid. I don't like it. I get that they're trying to make it work, but it's not working for me. The rest of the package I thought was cool, like guys talking about the first match and stuff. But in terms of the judge thing, I still don't really get it unless they're planning on bringing in somebody exciting. But I don't. The judge thing, I don't enjoy it. I don't want it. I don't think it makes sense for them to have it. But anyways, that's what they're going with.
I don't think it's the best thing that they could have gone with, but I think it works. I think the commentary team did a great job with the talking heads, I thought, making the judge stipulation seem a little bit better, at least, like, going over some aspects of the last match as well, which I liked. I think I always like these segments, and this one had a good match to work with, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a good
But in theory, if this goes down to the judges, and they make a decision, we still don't know we have no definitive answer. Like, how does it not make sense to go to a no time limit, one fall to a finish, or best 2 out of 3? Like,
or an Iron
it's
Man or
the
something.
problem with boxing and I guess does MMA go to judges? I don't even know. But the problem with boxing for sure is when they go to judges is it's always controversial and you never get a clear winner out of it. So unless this is a way to get a third match out of this because somebody wins on a split decision, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's so many other match options that make sense given the
Yeah.
1 hour time limit draw. But anyways, it bugs me more than it probably should.
Although the one thing with the no time limit thing is then like to say that they struggled to again half, and I guess Paige would have won.
He would have won if it was 3 seconds longer or whatever.
So I mean,
right?
I guess yeah, they could, or I don't know, 2 or 3 falls would be interesting. Or I could see it going Iron Man.
Iron Man, there you go, better option. For
Although
me.
then that one, if that lasts an hour, then that's like kind of, I don't know.
Yeah,
because like that one can go to a time limit.
If it goes to judges, it's the opposite of definitive, and we're supposed to be wanting a definitive winner because we didn't get one. Judges deciding is not like, that's still not definitive to me. But anyways,
next we come to Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill in the boring show tournament. Haha, TBS. The TBS Championship Tournament semifinals, the Sloth tournament, let's say. Because it's been going on for months.
And I assumed Cargill was going to win this, but I was curious to see how they were going to get there. Because it just makes sense with the way the brackets have gone, right?
Right.
That Cargill would win here. But it's like, how do you have Thunder Rosa lose? Because she's...
Well,
anyways.
that question was indeed answered.
Yeah, we'll find out, I guess.
So I thought it was a fine TV match, but nothing super special. Notables, there's a back and forth on the outside towards the beginning, and Cargill takes control with the backbreaker. She sends Rosa hard face first in the post. There's a dragon screw in the ropes by Rosa after repeated knees by Cargill, and she caught the last one to hit the dragon screw in that leg as a target of Rosa throughout the match. A big pump kick by Cargill at one point. Later on, some leg targeting the corner by Rosa when we come back from a commercial break. Figure 4 leg lock by Rosa applied. And then towards the end of the match, Rosa gets hit with some foreign object while leaning against the ropes by a mystery person. And then the finish comes with Cargill falling with Jaded for the win.
Right.
And then after the match, Rosa goes after Cargill. Wow, speedy recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Considering she got hit with something and then also a finisher. But then the mystery woman jumps Rosa. And oh my god, it's Mercedes Martinez.
Awesome. Love her. That's a nice addition.
And they continue to beat down until Soho runs out with the most feared weapon of all time, and that is a lead pipe.
Oh, right. With the comical, like, cartoon lead pipe.
Right.
Loved it. So the beginning of this, one thing I noted, I really liked Jade Cargill's mannerisms and totally ignoring Rosa's entrance. Like, she was completely disinterested, which I thought was cool. Match-wise, I mean, Rosa's focused attack on Cargill's leg makes sense. Cargill is big and powerful, right? Unfortunately, I didn't think Cargill's selling was super believable, right? We were talking about, like, I had my notes say it was all or nothing because it was like she couldn't walk barely, and then all of a sudden she's fine to like pick this woman up on her back, sort of thing.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that once you mentioned it.
So I think it was a bit like what I complain about NXT 2.0 is that the talented, experienced wrestler has to like slow things down and keep it simple for a much less experienced opponent. So they found a way to have Cargill wrestle a longer match, right? By having Thunder Rosa target the leg pretty much throughout this whole thing. And it looked decent doing that, but it's not what Thunder Rosa's normally about, right? She's flying around the ring with speed and high flying, and obviously she can't really do that with Jade Cargill. So I predicted the outcome of this match. I think I even said it would probably be an unclean win for Cargill. I'm thrilled to see Mercedes Martinez, but they better not be booking her as like a sidekick to Cargill, because Mercedes Martinez is awesome, and like she could really be awesome because the AEW will probably use her and let her actually wrestle. So I think she's a great addition to the women's roster, AEW roster in general, and I think she deserves to be unleashed as just a killer, because she still, man, that match she had with Rachel Ellering in that tournament with Impact with Knockouts Knockdown or whatever was awesome. So I think Mercedes Martinez is great. She hasn't been used properly in any major promotion yet, I don't think.
If she does stick around with them, it would be funny her going from Robert Stone to Mark Sterling.
Right.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
The match was okay, but if I'm being honest, wasn't super interesting. Rose returning the leg was smart, and Jade mostly sold it well.
Yeah.
I would say. The surprise debut of Mercedes Martinez is cool. I think she'll make a good addition to the division. The finals don't interest me a ton. Soho versus Cargill, that being. Cargill isn't bad, but she's just not very experienced yet, and it shows a lot sometimes.
I still assume Cargill's winning this tournament.
Like, I don't think she's bad. Like, I think she's improved a lot, but she's not there.
They found a way to get a longer match out of her, and that is put her in with someone good and have it be a limb targeting, right? Like, that's basically slow Thunder Rosa down, and have it make sense to get a longer match, which I think is smart, right? So the match was okay, but it wasn't good, I don't think.
Yeah. Next we get a Riho Baker video package, which is for their matches at Battle of the Belts, which I don't know when that is.
I didn't even make any comment on this, really. I don't think.
January 8th, maybe?
Oh, no, I did comment on it. Yeah, I don't know.
Baker says Riho stole a win and pissed her off. Excalibur says Riho has Baker's number and Baker's mad. Shivani says Baker will use his anger to advantage. And Baker says there's nothing more dangerous than her angry, and this is her division.
Yeah, I thought Britt was great here. She makes me more interested in the match a little bit. And I like this idea that Riho has her number, right? It's a really simple and effective thing. Like, she keeps beating you, so that pisses Britt Baker off. And because Riho doesn't cut promos, I don't want to say can't because I don't know, but she doesn't cut promos. Britt's left to do all the work here, right, to build this feud. And thankfully, she's probably capable of doing it on her own. So I thought this was good. I mean, Riho's not my favorite at all. In fact, I believe she'll be a nominee for overrated for me, but they could pull a good match out of this. I thought Britt was good here.
Yeah, I thought it was solid, but it's too bad I don't really care about this much nearly as much as Hangman versus Danielson. I do not care about Riho whatsoever, and Britt's just obviously winning.
I think so, yeah.
Next we get a CM Punk promo, first time in Daly's place, which they...
That's so funny how they find that to be like, I don't know, for Punk to come down and do like his partly pandering promos, right? His pandering style, like they try and make it an event, like it's his first time in this location. Okay, cool.
To be fair, it's their main.
It is.
It's their main. It's just kind of funny. It is, yeah. He says he comes out here and he means and thinks how great it is to see JR back, and he's glad JR is back. Pandering.
It was classy, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's nice to do.
He says he's never been out here and has been at home for AEW. It gets him thinking about Brody Lee. He says he watched the tribute show last year, made him want to come here, so then he waited many months.
Yeah, I mean, and
that logic, like, I mean, that's nice and all, but the logic doesn't, unless he said that's a factor. But if you're saying that made him want to come here, he waited a hell of a long time because it's not like he had a contract.
And I'm cynical of Punk's motives a lot of times, so I feel like, and I don't have any reason to know this other than my own opinions, but he feels like a guy who would overstate his relationship with Brody Lee to score points with the crowd, right? Like, I could see Punk being a guy like
worked with him like a bit in his WWE time, but I don't think he did a lot
because he knows how to manipulate people beautifully. So I feel like he could possibly overstate his relationship with the guy.
I could see that
for some clout. But anyways,
unless he got to know him backstage a bunch, like I don't think they worked together a lot. Because I know around the time that the Wyatt family would debut on the main roster, I know they worked Kane and I think they worked a bit with Bryan a lot, so that would make sense. And then they worked with the Shield.
Yes.
And then they worked with the Shield actually after Punk was on, because they debuted in summer 2013, and Punk was gone in at the Royal Rumble in 2014.
Yeah.
So there's not much of a gap, and I don't know if how much he would have worked with him, because I remember Bryan had a handicap match against the Wyatt family at TLC,
right?
But Punk was then working the Shield. I don't know. I'm just saying.
My general feeling on Punk is just that he is a very, very intelligent, but at his core, kind of a selfish jerk. And that comes through in all my opinions of him generally.
He says when he...
AKA CM Pink in my notes, I see right here.
Nice. He says he then thinks about someone who doesn't deserve his time and doesn't want to be here. And he means MJF, and he's an internet troll in real life as he talks trash and then hides behind stuff to instead... the Pinnacle instead of computer. He says he understands if MJF is afraid, but he is looking towards bigger and better things. He says he heard MJF talk about gold too and becoming AEW champion. He says if you don't want to be champion, you probably shouldn't be here, and he wants to be champion too. Well, no duh.
No kidding.
He says there's bigger and brighter things for him. Highly doubt it. And MJF is a waste of his time. He says MJF found out the hard way that no one can touch him, which MJF is far superior on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And if MJF is looking to rack up wins, maybe you'll see him down the line, and it would be a shame if someone interfered in MJF's quest for gold.
So, the first half of this was pandering Punk, which I don't enjoy. The second half was better because he started to focus on MJF, but it's still like nice guy CM Punk, right? Which I find less interesting than pissed off, motivated Punk. Solid segment still, but so basically MJF said he's done with CM Punk, and CM Punk's basically like okay with that. A week after literally chasing the man through the stands repeatedly, right? So
I guess it's like he knows MJF is a coward, so he's gonna give up.
Are they pausing this feud so MJF can rack up win? Like I was a little bit confused coming out of this because he sure wanted his hands on MJF last week, and now he's just like, okay, you're done with me, cool. So I came away a little bit confused, which I don't think is a good thing from a promo segment, but
yeah,
I thought the second half was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a fine promo from Punk. Started with the usual pandering. I don't think he is going to get to the title anytime soon or at all. So I'm not sure what he'll be doing unless they work a way for him to face MJF, which I'm fine with. But I think MJF should rack up wins and actually beat Punk as well.
Yeah.
Next we get a Team Taz thing. Starks welcomes JR back, so Taz has more time to manage Hook. He talks to Dante and says when he screws the Starks, he screws the Team Taz. He says he also screwed up any chance of winning anything. And then Hobbs, after Starks talks about him facing Hobbs again, Dante Martin that being, Hobbs asks if Dante really wants to go round 2 with him after their first encounter, which we mentioned, won. I think, in the year-end thing.
Yep. I thought these guys sounded cool here. I actually liked it, and I thought they complemented each other well. So I think get rid of the stupid FTW belt that is completely pointless and meaningless. Put these guys as a tag team. Starks could be the smaller, mouthy guy that talks his way into trouble, right? And then Hobbs is like the more silent powerhouse there. I think they'd be a really cool tag team.
Yeah, that would make me miss Cage, because I think Starks and Cage would just be...
Yes, but Cage has disappeared somewhere, right? So... but they're victims of this bloated roster, right? And they're in a faction that has done very little other than produce Hook, who's phenomenal, but the rest is kind of Team Taz. You're still not on board with Hook, eh? You'll see.
He just doesn't seem that interesting. I haven't seen him in a match.
He is cool. He's very cool.
Short promo, it was fine, but Team Taz is essentially a joke. They need to put Hook on Dynamite so I can see what all the fuss is about, because I doubt I'll be getting around to Rampage much.
And get Layla Hirsch in your group, because she's maybe going heel, so she'd be awesome in Team Taz.
Although that just might derail her.
But she's kind of at that level, right? She's not poised to be anything big right now. I think it would help her profile, and eventually she could get out of it and do any... But anyways, I think I like this, and I think Starks and Hobbs should be a tag team.
Nice. Next we get a quick promo from Hikaru Shida. She says she will teach Deeb a lesson. Deeb hit the buckle because she ripped off the pad and she should stop whining. She accepts the challenge and she says bring it, she'll beat Deeb down again. Yep,
and the only thing before this was Sammy Guevara brought his signs out through a commercial break, right? But I don't even remember what I
saw he posted, and it was like a New Year's thing. Him and Conti are definitely together.
Yeah, I saw they kissed and the internet exploded.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's anybody's business but theirs, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I like this Shida talking about Deeb. She made a few solid points about Deeb removing the turnbuckle cover, right? And she showed some good intensity here. She came across as like a strong fighting babyface in a really brief promo, so I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I like the more serious tone from her. I hope the next match is back to the good quality that these two have produced.
Right. Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment, the third one.
Yeah. And next we get a in-ring interview with Brian Pillman Jr. Yeah.
Yes.
He says his brother walked in the House of Black last week, which was Griff Garrison, not his actual brother. I don't even know if he has an actual brother. I don't know.
He called him his partner or whatever, then he upgraded to his brother.
Yeah.
Right.
He says he remembers hearing the bell over and over as Black tried to end Griff's career with that very deep half crab, and his memory gets fuzzy because he ended up lying on the ground. Yes, he did.
Because you got your face kicked off, fella.
Yes. I'm surprised he doesn't look like James Ellsworth. He should have gotten his chin kicked off.
You should have like a shoe print across his face.
I think he should just be missing a chin. He says his career started here and now it's his turn to come down to the House of Black. And he learned from his father that you only get one life and Black won't take his. Black didn't take Griff's either. He's
Despite sadly saying, I never really knew my dad. That sucks.
Yeah. He says, sorry, never mind. The lights go out and Black appears on the ramp just to point at Pillman. Newsflash, Brian Pillman is not a WrestleMania sign.
No.
And then the lights go out
Too early.
again. and then when they turned on, you can just see Black walking through the other end of the tunnel,
right.
which I thought was really funny.
I thought there was some good emotion from Pillman. As soon as he brought up his dad, you could see things got a little bit more real for him, and there was some real emotion coming through there.
Which I like that integrated.
Yeah, me too. I thought this was a solid promo from a guy who's improved a lot in that area for sure. I just think that the match he would have with Aleister Black should be about as long as this promo, but we'll see what happens.
I don't mind him getting a bit of offense because he's solid. I think it was a solid promo. And what I assume will be his last words. I feel like we'll see Brody King next week, so I feel like that's a good moment for the first TBS Dynamite.
Yep.
I'm just thinking like that kind of works out pretty nicely.
Yep.
I'm not sure if the new Brian Pillman Jr. line actually means anything. So he said you'll see a new Brian Pillman Jr. But I guess we'll see. Maybe he'll be in the House of Black.
Ooh.
Just kidding. That would be lame. Don't do that. Next we get like kind of a dual promo thing for a Rampage match. So it's basically like one promo followed right by another.
Yes.
So it's Anthony Bowens and then Darby Allin. So Caster does a rap, which I can't catch because it's Max Caster. Like he just can't. He's too fast, Maxwell Caster. He said, and so Bowens then says on Rampage he'll be Darby's My Chemical Romance looking ass all
funny.
over the ring and ring in the new year with a win. And then then we cut to the Darby Allin promo, which of course Sting has to start. He says they're like talking about main events and whatnot, and when he started, he treated every match like a main event because he's old school.
That's right.
Because he's 62 or something.
He is.
Darby says he has no ego and he doesn't care about being the main event or the opener because it does not matter to him, and he says he is ready. And I thought though they were both just fine promos, nothing really special.
Acclaimed good confidence from both of them. I thought it was good, and the Sting Darby reply was fine. Like Darby Allin's strength isn't talking. He's good enough, and they kept it short, so I had no issues with this.
Next we get a package thing for TJ. TJ is the name, okay? It's TJ. No one can say that's not. And then Bunny and Penelope Ford, which are probably my favorite tag team.
Oh my god.
I forgot to give them an honorable mention for best tag team. Oh, I should put them in worst tag teams.
They get so much time for some. I don't understand.
Overrated? No, because I don't think people like them that much.
And Penelope isn't as bad as Bunny.
Yeah. But I mean, this would be something for her to do until she can manage Kip Sabian, I guess, right?
Sure.
Anna Jay says they both beat Bunny and Ford multiple times clean, and all they did was cheat. Ford says this isn't Karate Kids, boom roasted, and they are the most psychotic around, and who knows what toys they will bring on Rampage.
Ooh.
And that reminds me, because there's a Karate Kid reboot from, like, 2011.
Yeah.
With, like, I think it has Jackie Chan, and then, like, some kid who's, some kid.
Sure.
Who's like black, I think.
Isn't it Will Smith's kid?
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, and like he gets Jackie Chan or whatever to teach him kung fu.
Yeah.
And he looks like a toddler, so instead of the Karate Kid, I think it's the kung fu toddler.
Could be.
Anyways, that is very off topic, but I feel like I just wanted to mention that. I would like to mention they did wear street gear yesterday in the match, so nice. I will appreciate that. And there was blood.
I haven't seen it yet. I probably will watch it. Bunny and Ford talking about being the baddest bitches around, I thought
whoa. Most psychotic bitches.
I thought that was like unintentional comedy. Just like, okay. And anyways, my ever pressing question is how, with so many underused women in this company, how do Penelope Ford and Bunny get on TV every single week? I don't know.
It's a modern day miracle.
They have like dirt on Tony Khan or something. I don't know. But anyways.
They're just blackmailing Tony Khan or something.
I'm interested to see the match. Maybe not for the right reasons completely, but I probably will check it out.
I saw that Conti did like a gotch powder. Like she was really bloody. I think Bunny got really bloody.
I'm in. I'll check it out.
Yeah. I thought it was fine. I just don't care at all. I could not care less.
It's tough
to care. I really
don't
care.
Yep.
There's just no I really don't. See, it's weird. I don't want women's tag titles. I would like to make that clear. I do not want AEW to have women's tag titles.
No.
But then there's also no purpose for these teams.
It's getting a bunch of inexperienced talent, some experience in a different type of match, I guess, is the idea here.
I think it could prove good for Conti.
Not that Bunny doesn't. She's been wrestling forever and she's still just not good, and that's just how it is. But the other three I don't think have a ton of experience.
I think could be good for Conti to get in this kind of match.
Yep.
And next we come to our main event. Yeah, Undisputed Era versus Best Friends. Undisputed Era, okay? Undisputed Era.
Mm-hmm. I have Red Dragon and Adam Cole, but I see what you're saying.
How dare you, sir? It is Undisputed Era, all right? Or Undisputed Elite, but until that name is confirmed, it's Undisputed Era.
Okay.
Red Dragon did use Bobby Fish's theme, which is Dance Away by Dan Valentine's, which I don't know who they are, but I think it's a solid theme for
Sounds good,
them. Yeah, I like it. And but then AEW just pieced together a new Red Dragon, Re-Dragontron, which I thought was pretty nice. Actually, they did put on YouTube, so I was looking at that before we were recording. I thought it was pretty nice.
Nice.
I still like the theme, so I think it works. And then they're cut off by Cole's theme, which is infinitely better.
Cut off quickly, like they didn't get much of Red Dragon.
They got to Kyle already got to do his cool pose thingy, Majiggy.
He did, definitely.
And Trent is back to Trent Beretta. So
he is.
I get to call him Trent Beretta now.
You do.
I probably won't.
And not Trent.
All right, I have actually, I guess I've been mispronouncing his name the whole time.
Trent?
I've always been calling him Trent, and it's actually Trent.
Do you even know how punctuation works, bro?
No, I do not, I guess. And this was an entertaining and quite action-packed trios main event.
It was.
Many, notables, as I say. Nice exchange between Trent, just kidding, not anymore. Trent Beretta and Kyle O'Reilly. I'm gonna purposely just call him Trent Beretta every time I mention him now. Like, just, at least today.
Trenton
Beretta.
Trenton Beretta.
Trent
is short for Trenton. You know how you like to make up full names for everybody?
Right. Yes.
Trenton Beretta.
Trenton Beretta. Do you think Bobby is short for Robert. Or Boberto?
Robert.
Not Boberto?
No, probably not.
Okay. Kyle O'Reilly distracts the ref and Cole hits a cheap shot to allow Fish to take control. Kyle O'Reilly hits a dragon screw in the ropes to Chuck Taylor, and then Fish kicks out his legs to face plant him on the apron. A random super kick to take out Cassie by I wrote Kyle O'Reilly, but I think I meant Adam Cole.
Right.
Because he just randomly super kicks him to send him off. Flurry by Trent Beretta, capped off by a tornado DDT to Kyle O'Reilly for 2, where he's face hit, so Trent Beretta is facing the corner, and then he does the big swing around instead of just starting from the turnbuckles. Cool. Yeah, it's one of Trent Beretta's.
He's good, man.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite moves from Trent Beretta, and the spear. I feel does he do a spine buster, or was it a spear?
I know
he does a spear, but I can't remember if he does a spine buster. Anyways, awesome double team combo offense by Re-Dragon for 2, which I believe was to Trent Beretta. Hot tag flurry by Cassidy, but Re-Dragon catch him with the butterfly DDT wheelbarrow suplex combo for 2. AO 2K move.
Mm-hmm. Looks good.
Super kick followed by total elimination for Undisputed Era. I almost said UE. I hate myself. For 2, but Chuck breaks the pin, which total elimination is just the high-low, which imbeciles call it. 2 pile drivers, followed by a beach break by Best Friends, otherwise known as Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Trent Beretta, for 2, but Re-Dragon break the pin. Kyle O'Reilly accidentally boots Adam Cole off the apron. Then we get the lovely combo by Best Friends of eat defeat / into the half and half suplex.
Looks great every
time.
Love
that.
Me too.
So Fish gets nailed with that, and despite not being legal, just they hit it for fun. Cutler, the stooge Cutler, or what do they call him?
I don't know.
Something stooge.
Yeah,
they always call him the something stooge. He distracts the ref, and the Bucks hit Best Friends with super kicks of Bucks, coming with the save, and Re-Dragon hit chasing the Dragon for the win, which is just a roundhouse kick brainbuster. But
yeah, but it was a suplex this time. I want the brainbuster.
I mean, remember the one paradigm shift? If that's a paradigm shift, then this is a brainbuster.
I guess, but a vertical suplex is much different from a brainbuster to me. So they need to get it the sheer drop brainbuster sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Excellent main event, I thought. Red Dragon are just so crisp and efficient. and impactful, and they still work so well with Cole. I thought Trent Beretta looked great here too.
Yes, good.
And sometimes I just need to be reminded of how good Chuck Taylor is, because he's awesome,
he's
right? He just kind of looks very generic, but he's excellent in the ring.
I've kind of forgotten how much I miss Best Friends. Like when I refer to Best Friends, I usually mean the original tag team of.
I always do.
Trent Beretta and Chuck.
I do too.
Right. They were awesome.
Best Friends, again, just those two. And Red Dragon, just they have so many cool tandem moves. They've just wrestled together forever. That would be a really nice tag team.
Oh, yes. I would. Okay.
My next note is I would be fine to see that be Red Dragon's first program.
Yeah.
Because they can win, obviously, there too.
Parking Lot Brawl, I would either take another tag Parking Lot Brawl. We get Best Friends versus Redragon, or it's Best Friends and Cassidy versus Undisputed Era in a 6-man Parking Lot Brawl. That would be equally cool.
Overall, really fun match. Great way to end the show. I thought this was an excellent main event. What about you?
I thought it was a great main event. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Really awesome to see Undisputed Era back together, even though they only broke up in like February, but specifics don't matter. Even seeing Trent Beretta and Chuck teaming again was very nice. Trent Beretta's Instagram is Trenty Locks, and now he doesn't even have his locks.
No, not at all.
That's not.
He looks like Mini Miro to me.
I still think he looks like Thomas Latimer or
a little bit. Yep.
I thought the finish was solid too. The tension between Cole and Kyle O'Reilly is interesting. Something for me to look forward to next week. But overall, a good main event. Really enjoyable. And what were your thoughts overall?
Overall, I like this show. My nitpick would be like just a glut of multi-person matches on this episode, right?
I'm good with that.
Just interesting. Doesn't bother me. So the main event was the highlight in ring for me. The women's match was probably the low point, but I thought it was still okay, right? I don't really count the Wardlow squash as anything. We got Lambert and Brandy in one segment together, which I'm not a fan of.
That's just brutal.
I actually didn't hate it, though, compared to some Lambert segments. And then I thought all the other segments and promos were at least fine. So I enjoyed the show overall, not quite as much as the past couple weeks, so I bumped it down a tiny bit and gave this week's episode a very solid, though, B+.
Yeah, so I would think, I think it was really good, too. I think, pretty much the same as you. I think it was another pretty enjoyable show. The in-ring action was generally good. The opener multi-man tag match was another pretty fun big multi-man tag match from them. They seem to generally get those right.
They gave me an opener and a main event, right? So they got me.
Even like that other trios match kind of right after the opener, I think was pretty good too, but a little too short. So I think had it been given more, I think I would have enjoyed it much more. Like you said, the Wardlow squash was the same as the last however many, and just nothing really.
Even if they changed the order for me and put the women's right after the opener and separated those two multi-man matches, right? Would have helped me a little bit.
Yeah. The women's match was fine, but nothing super interesting. Not a very surprising result either, but the debut of Mercedes Martinez is at least an appealing one.
Good point.
And the main event was as good as I could have hoped for, and a nice finish as well. At least some anticipation for next week, as I was saying. As far as the segments go, there was another good MJF promo, a solid segment involving Yui and the Bucks, just to build to the main event a bit. A couple of nice video packages, with the best one being that Miami and Danielson one, I think. And the Brian Pillman promo was solid too. The only segment I really didn't love was the Dan Lambert promo, which got worse with the involvement of Brandy Rhodes of all people. But as a show that had a lot of pretty good in-ring actions, a couple of nice segments, little crap. I agree, not quite as good as the previous weeks, but I'm gonna also give it a B+.
Nice, good show again.
Yep.
All right, so let's move into talking about some trivia in our next segment, which we call Off the Top of His Head. All right, so for this week, I've got 20-ish, I think just over, questions on general WWE trivia from funtrivia.com.
Yeah, I was just watching a local trivia where I don't know if you know what The Chase is or whatever. I think some sort of game show.
Sure.
They did a wrestling version.
Yeah.
And so that was also a trivia thing that I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I don't think I told you, the one of the guys on your brother's basketball team, his little brother is a huge wrestling fan now. He was sitting there doing trivia with Marco Sr., who's a wrestling fan, right? So I was telling him about the podcast. I don't know if he'll check it out or not, but he wants to call in and do trivia, was what he was saying. But anyways, all right, so you ready for this? 20-ish questions about WWE stuff in general. What did Mankind use to help pin The Rock for the WWF title on Halftime Heat in 1999?
Forklift.
Oh my God, of course you know that.
Pallet.
So yes, So he lowered the forklift onto the rock, right?
Yeah.
And then lay on top of the forklift, and that counted as a pin.
I guess he does have to be on it, right?
Yeah. Who did Big John Studd defeat to win the 1989 Royal Rumble?
Duggan?
No. The last person he threw over the ropes. A
Um,
heel that I really liked, who had a son who was in WWF for a little bit.
Bob Orton.
Nope. He's been in it for forever. His son's no longer there.
Oh. Mr. Perfect?
Close. Ted DiBiase.
Ted Diabase?
Yes. That's what you used to say when you were little. Because I think you had only seen his name and not heard it said.
I also didn't understand. I didn't know Benoit.
Right. A Benoit? Good luck on knowing this one, but maybe. What famous talk show did Deborah appear on with her former husband, Steve McMichael? Mongo McMichael. Think of a female TV host that...
Mongo. Nancy Glass.
No, you're going back too far. She now has her own network. Yes, Oprah is correct. So who is Deborah married to now?
Steve Austin.
Correct. What musical... Oh, you won't know. That's ridiculous. I won't even ask that one. What musical artist did Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young appear with to present an award at the 1999 American Music Awards?
I don't know.
Lou Bega.
I don't even know who Lou Bega is.
I think he might have been the Mambo No. 5 guy.
Who the hell is Lou Bega?
Anyways, this one you should know. Who did Randy Savage defeat on February 8th, 1986 at the Boston Garden for the Intercontinental Championship?
He's 6.
Mm-hmm.
For the NXT title. Oh, I don't know. Is there options?
There are not options.
So
what hint can I give you? He was part of a tag team I really liked when I was young.
Tio Santana?
Correct. Wow, that hint helped you, eh?
Yeah.
Because what tag team did I like?
Wait, was it Strike Force or Can-Am?
I like Strike Force. Actually, both, but Strike Force is the one I remember better.
That was Martel, right?
Yep.
That one was Martel.
Who won the 20-man Battle Royal at WrestleMania 4?
So the Battle Royal at WrestleMania 4?
Mm-hmm.
Andre?
No.
Bad News Brown?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, that one.
And he won, so what did it say here? He received a 7-foot trophy after winning by turning on his one-time friend Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Right. And then after the match, Hart pulverized him with the trophy. Classic, right?
Pulverized him.
Who was Rikishi Fatu before he was Rikishi Fatu?
What?
What character was he?
Sultan?
Yes, very good.
Wait, no, he was... Oh, before he was Rikishi.
Yeah.
Okay, why Rikishi Fatu?
It's a weird way to say, like, what character was he before Rikishi?
Okay,
but you got it.
Because you said Fatu, so I was like, what? He was Fatu before he was the Sultan, but then, I don't know, it was just confusing.
What were Shamrock and Steve Blackman surrounded by in their famous Iron Circle match from 1999, Fully Loaded?
Shamrock and...
Blackman. So they were surrounded by what in that match?
An MMA cage?
Nope. They called it the Iron Circle, right? So you haven't seen this one?
Metal?
You haven't seen this match?
No.
They fought and it was like a circle of cars.
Oh.
Interesting. What TV show, you won't know this either, did Stone Cold Steve Austin make several appearances on? I actually used to watch this show. I think with my dad. Nash Bridges, you wouldn't know it. What appeared when Mae Young was supposedly having a baby?
A hand.
And their comments, because they put little added information after all these. She gave birth to a rubber hand on national television and made a fool of herself and disgusted everyone else. What famous baseball player has been getting tombstone pile driven by Kane at WrestleMania? Correct.
Like
Charlie Hustle.
What?
That was his nickname because he was hustled constantly. He also received a stink face by Rikishi.
Oh, good for him.
What NFL star, because I know you know football, defeated Bam Bam Bigelow in the main event of
Lawrence
WrestleMania?
Taylor.
Correct. And actually, it was a pretty good match for a non-wrestling guy.
It took a football guy to get Bam Bam Bigelow in the main event spot, though.
Right. What pair of brothers fought against each other at WrestleMania 10?
Oh, the Hearts.
Correct.
I don't know why I gapped for a second.
Yes. There weren't many other brothers at that point, right? Like a little bit later, there's a bunch. Or or brothers, quote unquote, like Kane and Undertaker. In 1982, who did the now governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura, lose a match to for the WWF title?
Jesse Ventura?
Yeah.
He lost for the WWE title?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I guess
he didn't have it. He lost to, like, he was challenging for it and lost. So who had it that he lost to? 82. Who would be a champ back then?
Hogan.
Nope.
McBacklund?
Yes, very good. I would never have gotten that one. You could have given me 50 guesses. What does Austin... Oh, no, that's not even right. So I skipped that one because I just looked... I fact-checked it. And
what was it?
So here's what they said, right? And I fact-checked this and it was wrong. What does Austin 316 refer to other than making fun of Jake the Snake?
John 316, right?
So, no, I couldn't find this. But they're saying the celebration of Austin in WWE is March 16th.
Oh. That can't be right.
No, I looked it up. I saw nothing.
No, it was because he mentioned John 316 in the promo.
Right. It was totally mocking Jake the Snake. But anyways, who held the WWF title for a total of 2 minutes and 7 seconds?
Yokozuna?
Correct. And then, so how did that go down? Do you know? Who did he beat?
He beat Bret Hart via Salt for Mr. Fuji.
Right.
Then Hogan made a challenge in defense of Bret Hart or something like that.
Yep. So I think Fuji challenged Hogan.
Or like he came down to protest or whatever, and then Fuji challenged Hogan because he's an idiot, and then Hogan beat him.
Obviously, Hogan won is the most redundant thing. Hogan won everything forever, basically.
Forever.
What WWF superstar made his WrestleMania debut on the same day as his birthday?
Giant Gonzalez?
No. A big guy, though.
Mabel.
No.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
A more famous, better big guy.
Andre the Giant.
No.
Big John Studd.
No. He has a brother in the Federation.
Oh, Kane.
Other one.
Undertaker.
Correct.
Nailed it first try.
What WWE... I know you know this one. What WWE superstar holds the record for the longest title reign in professional wrestling history?
Travis Moolah.
Correct. And how long did she hold it for?
Like 28 years.
28, a little less than 28 years.
They included her NWA reign, and then it lasted for a while in WWE, I guess. I think it was.
Yep. From 1956 to 1984. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Who was the first WWF champion?
Buddy Rogers.
Correct.
Original Nature Boy.
Do you know how he won?
What? No, that was the fictional tournament.
In Rio de Janeiro, right?
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
No, but that one was real, right?
Yes, I believe so.
The IC title was in Rio de Janeiro too, right? Or that was Brazil?
I think, yeah, that's...
I don't know. That one was fictional, though, so it does not matter.
You're not going to know this one. What school do both Shane and Stephanie McMahon hold degrees from? Maybe you know, but I doubt it.
School of Nepotism?
Nice. Boston University.
Nice.
What famous WWF tag team taught themselves how to wrestle in their own backyard?
Hardys.
Correct. Who did Rockabilly and the Real Double J become after these characters? Who were they next?
Rockabilly. That's awesome.
And the Real Double J. Not Jeff Jarrett,
right,
the real one.
The Real Double J.
Who did they become next?
New Age Outlaws, or Mr. Ass and Road Dogg.
Correct.
King Ass. The one Billy Gunn.
What happened in Kane's life on the same day as his first ever Inferno match on April 26th?
He got burned?
No. There's something in his life that happened to be on the same day.
His parents died?
No. It's his
burned.
birthday.
Yay!
Who is the tallest WWF superstar ever?
Giant Gonzalez.
I think so too. They're saying it's Big Show, but I don't think so.
I think it's either Giant Gonzalez or I don't think they're counting Omos.
Last one. What happened? What did Kat do after she won the women's title at Armageddon 1999?
Let's see. It's 1999.
So you know.
So why don't we take a wild guess and say she she took her top off.
She did, in fact, so they're phrasing here, after winning the match, as she promised, she removed her bra and showed her puppies.
I'm sure that's exactly what Lawler said too.
Yeah, 100%.
That was Lawler's wife too.
That
That's
was
the
his
funny
phrase.
part.
You only saw it if you were watching live. If you watched the replay, it was censored. It was not planned by WWF.
That was not planned.
That was interesting.
Right.
But yeah, so that was your trivia. Some of those were ridiculous, and most of them you did really well. So good job. So normally at this point we would transition to talking about NXT UK, but they did just a like highlights of the year.
Again, which
So they
I don't know, it's weird.
They had people doing their New Year's resolutions, which none of them were
They
interesting.
did replay a triple threat match, which was really nice though. Actually.
It was a really good match.
It was really good.
Rampage, Brown, Dragunov, and Joe Coffey.
Yeah, I really liked that.
Was a really good match that they replayed. So that was cool.
That's one thing I actually do like about those is that I haven't watched a lot of UK this year, so that was kind of nice,
was a
actually.
slugfest of a match.
Yeah.
Rampage Brown is
Rampage Brown, I never really love him that much, but he was solid. I like
because he looks like a generic, like old school kind of wrestler, but he's good, man.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move into a section where we talk about whatever other wrestling stuff we want to that we call any other wrestling business. So I'm going to start out talking about NXT 2.0 from this week. I'm still the only one watching it. Jackson, you are still boycotting them.
They deserve none of my attention.
I almost wanted to make you watch the Tiffany Stratton match just because you should, but I didn't. So
I will watch the Riddle Walter thing next week, and that is it.
So we start out this episode with Grayson Waller heading to the ring in some sort of like camo gear. It's, I think, his wrestling gear plus a vest, and it's all this like matching sort of camo. So he talks, he rips the crowd, talks about being on Raw, as he already was, I guess, and he was interrupted on Raw by AJ Styles. So then they show a clip where AJ basically challenged Waller to a match while on Raw. Waller turns his attention to the match he's supposed to have tonight against Dexter Lumis. So apparently a bunch of things got changed because of COVID protocols, right? So Lumis matches changed here, and I was sort of wondering why, and I felt stupid later because I didn't really put two and two together because I know they've had a bunch of positives, right? Or maybe not even positives, but people just in protocols, so they couldn't be there. But anyways, so he's supposed to have a match with Lumis. He insults Indy Hartwell, saying that she's good enough for Lumis, but not for someone like him. I think he said it's like a 10 for Lumis, but a 3 for Waller, something along those lines. Then I had here for some reason, but we now know the Lumis match won't happen. So guess who the replacement is? Odyssey Jones.
Oh yeah, nice.
Who they remind us quickly.
That's an upgrade.
You know what they did do, which was nice? He was one of Loomis's groomsmen. Right? Remember he had the most random groomsmen?
Yeah, well, this one used to by that logic, you could go like Cameron Grimes or any other babyface.
They gave us Odyssey Jones.
Yeah.
So Jones gets the microphone, calls Waller a bitch, and the bell rings for Odyssey Jones versus...
That's like them trying to be edgy, but they just always go with bitch.
It really does feel like they're forced. Okay, we're allowed 1 or 2 swears. You get it this week.
Like, I remember like a little more, it's like, big time Bax is a big time bitch. Ooh.
Right. So it was a basic 7-minute match with Jones hitting power stuff and Waller doing what he does until Waller tried to avoid a power bomb as he's holding on to the top turnbuckle pad. The turnbuckle pad rips off. He gets hit by the power bomb, but kicks out for a 2 count and kind of rolls out of the ring. He doesn't roll out yet. Jones gets up, charges at Waller in the corner, who moves and slips out of the ring. And Jones does a really bad job of running his head off of the exposed turnbuckle. I think I
saw the clip.
It didn't look good. So Waller from the outside notices his good fortune. Somersaults sort of through the ropes, like it's like rolling into a stunner for the win.
Yeah, that's lame.
And then AJ Styles comes on the screen, tells Waller it's time to put up or shut up, and he will be here next week for New Year's Evil. So there's another match they're sort of putting on this show next week.
Ratings grab.
So Waller's promo to start I didn't think was super interesting. It was really a lot of just him recapping what happened on Raw in case we missed it, and I did, and I still thought it was too long. The rest was just sort of meandering and pointless, and I still don't know where Lumis is, although I probably do now, and why he had to be replaced. The match was really basic and just a way for Waller to get like a sneaky win and for Jones, I guess, to take a protected loss here because he quote unquote hit his head on the exposed turnbuckle. Not a great start to the show. I really loved Waller for that 1 week, right? And now he's been kind of slipping. How dare you
try to love something on NXT?
I still see major potential for him as a heel, but I feel like he might just go to main roster really quick because
and then gets screwed.
He's good enough in the ring and they're going to like his character, right? So anyways. Mackenzie is then talking to Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez backstage. Gonzalez and Jade both want to fight Mandy Rose, but then here are Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray to say that they want to fight her too.
Even though And I don't watch the show, but I do know that Raquel and Cora Jade already got, like, they're already in the match.
So things had to change here. Again, I think because the rest of Toxic Attraction couldn't be on TV. So this is them sort of switching on the fly here. So Mandy Rose happens.
It wouldn't be like it wouldn't be a terrible premise if they hadn't already set up the match.
Already set up the, yeah, you're right. And now it's like, well, forget we said that, right?
Right, like, I feel like if, like, they had gone into this going, oh, if they beat Toxic Attraction, they're in the match, then you could feasibly replace them, like, with Kaylee Ray, KLR, and EO, but, like, it just doesn't really work.
No. So Mandy Rose happens to pop up on the screen behind them. I think she's still, like, poolside or whatever. She'll get a tag match made for tonight, obviously, because people just make matches all over the place.
Right, but no, she's not making them, but she'll get it made from who? Another wrestler?
Whoever.
Maybe she has to ask Toxic Attraction, get their input.
Get consent.
Yeah.
With the winning team, we'll get it to challenge her in a triple threat at New Year's Evil.
So she still wants a triple threat?
So my takeaways from this, Cora Jade still sounds awful. I still don't know how to really reconcile a heel champion that keeps trying to book herself in triple threat matches, right? Like the fighting champion looking for not even one-on-one matches, but she's a heel. So there's a big disconnect there for me, just being a wrestling fan of 30 plus years. Like that's not a heel stance to take. They
at least not like that kind of heel. I feel like might be like a type of heel that could
but Mandy Rose ain't it.
Exactly. Like, Mandy Rose is not that kind of person.
And they do try to explain it a little bit later to give them a bit of credit. They try to get me there. But anyways. So at least this leads to a tag team match where 3 of the 4 women can wrestle, I guess, was the silver lining here. But why do I feel like at this point, Cora Jade is still going to get some sort of roll-up win, right? Was my prediction. And I kept that
like
in my notes,
games?
whether I'm wrong or not. That's her whole gimmick, is she sneaks roll-up wins. She's done it like 4 times or something.
That's so dumb.
That's her whole
thing.
She
did that to Taya Valkyrie.
Right. So then we get more Grayson Waller. Just quickly, he's backstage angry, runs into MSK, who are being goofy and ridiculous. And MSK are up next, but they're not, because we get a brief Tiffany Stratton vignette.
Why would you ever think they're actually next?
Her daddy says she's ready for NXT, but is NXT ready for her, was the gist of this.
Her daddy says she's ready, so she must go, right?
And I'm just saying, they better, at this point again, I didn't go back and change my notes. My notes say, they had better hope this woman is decent after all these weeks of vignettes to introduce her. She's not. If she gets this much exposure and is terrible, it could really haunt her. It will. So Zion Quinn then gets a brief promo. Oh
yeah, Zion Quinn, baby.
Where he basically tells Lopez that she needs to choose a side, Legado or Quinn. She won't. So I'm not a big fan of romance angles in my wrestling, so I don't care about this. I just want it to go away. So
you're gonna say you're not a big fan of Zion Quinn?
Well, I mean, he actually has a really cool look, but he's just right off the bat in a romance story that's going on for months. So not my favorite. MSK come to the ring to talk, and I put this is not a great idea because them talking, but whatever. They go for it. They lost at Halloween Havoc, but they found their shaman, and now flying higher than ever. Get it? Drugs. Riddle appears on the screen and is with them in spirit like a higher power. Get it? Oh my god. This is the biggest, like, fellow kids, right? We've talked about this. This is like old men sitting around going, kids will love this.
Hello.
Drugs. Riddle tells MSK...
No, they should have made it about vapes. Then it would be relatable to kids. Ha 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 ha.
Riddle tells MSK they need to challenge Imperium. So MSK calls them out and Imperium walk onto the ramp. Bartel and Eichner come out speaking German and Italian, and MSK ask for subtitles. Ha ha ha. Bartel mocks their childish behavior. Again, he's the heel, but he's making a lot of sense.
If they really wanted to make this stupid, they should have made it so that MSK did understand it because they were high. Like, when they're high, they're able to understand them.
Or they just think they do, and it's completely...
Or that, yeah. Like, something like that. They should have gone, like, full stupid.
But you're a kid writing it, so that makes sense. You need me, like, even older than me. You need, like, a 60-year-old white man to write this for you, right? Because we get with the kids.
In, like, a couple decades, we'll get you to write NXT.
That's right.
Yeah.
Basically, they're saying MSK will never be able to touch Imperium. The titles will stay where they belong with Imperium. MSK issue a challenge, and Walter appears on the screen. Thank you, Walter, for trying to save this segment. He says MSK represent all that is wrong with wrestling, and again, I don't feel like he's wrong here. So I'm kind of like on the side of the heels.
I don't dislike MSK, but like he's not wrong.
Right.
It's not like even like they're bad, but they do represent that.
They're kind of a joke, right? And he is proud
Especially
of Imperium. Now. Riddle pops back on the screen and proposes a 6-man tag match for New Year's Evil. Yes, please. Walter and Imperium accept the challenge. So this could be an awesome match, obviously.
It's almost better than getting a tag title match.
I really don't see how MSK are baby faces here. To me, they are more obnoxious than Waller, and Waller's being pushed as a mega heel. So the segment was nothing special. MSK continue to be sort of cringeworthy to me, but we're getting a match that I want to see coming out of it, so that's fine.
Imagine we just like somehow manage to get Riddle versus Walter like solo in NXT, just somehow.
I think it's not out of the question, and
I
would see it. Yep. Then a recap of Harlan throwing Brian Kendrick down the stairs. Gacy is shown reminding Harlan that Kendrick called Harlan a freak, and Harlan will be next.
Well,
but it
Brian
won't
Kendrick
be against Brian
wrong.
Kendrick, because he ain't there either. So Edris Enofe talks to Mackenzie about his first win last week, where I think he rolled up Von Wagner, surprisingly.
I thought that was Malik Blade.
No, Malik Blade came to defend him and to save him after the match.
Oh, okay. I thought, because I saw Malik Blade was facing Wagner this week, who's the best wrestler of all time, by the way. And I just assumed, like, because they're like, oh, he's going for the Sunset Flip again. So I thought that was...
No, it was Enofe.
I would like to say that's like the worst name, not Von Wagner or Braun Breaker.
But Wagner shows up, gets in Enofe's face. Malik Blade comes to Enofe's defense. And my comments were nobody was good here, but it was super short, and it provides fodder for Wagner, I imagine.
Wagner sucks.
He really he's just like the most basic, generic big man ever. It's not even like he's horrible in the ring, but it's just like basic stuff. Harlan and Gacy get into the ring. Gacy lets us know that Kendrick will not be showing up for the match, so none of the matches...
Why did they tell Gacy and not... Like, why is Gacy the one who knows?
Got the inside. Maybe he's booking the show. Maybe he's the secret GM.
Where it's like, the one time when Beverly Gorvick says, like, we can all be our own lawyers or whatever, it's like, we can all be our own GM.
That's right. Kendrick is afraid to admit that he is the problem, and that he is the one that has wronged Harlan.
Whoa, that is too far.
So Andre Chase's music hits because he's replacing Kendrick here. He says that this is a teachable moment, and at Chase University... I was gonna say,
like, why is, like, he's not really babyface, right? So, like,
so they just needed somebody in here to get killed by this guy, and he's the guy that gets killed by people.
Which I thought his gimmick, like, it's not the best anymore, but I thought he was just one of the ones that kind of had potential. Now they've ruined that.
No, it's dead. At Chase University, they don't quit or run away from their problems. Gacy admires Chase University to be like, hey, we're heels, so we got a little bit of respect for you. Says that Harlan was enrolled in school himself until he was expelled. Gacy then thanks Chase for stepping up as the replacement for Kendrick. And I think the point here was Chase was surprised and like doesn't want the match, but then why the heck did he come out? What did he think was going to happen, right? So I was a little confused there. But we do get Andre Chase versus Harlan. Harlan manhandles Chase, and the referee stops the match after 1 minute. The blonde student of Chase's, remember who we said he's definitely going to get involved? He gets basically taken out.
He gets involved.
He gets taken out and kidnapped by Harlan. They just throws him over his shoulder and carries him out. And this is where I, again, wasn't thinking too clearly and was like, why does WWE insist on not delivering matches they promote? Seems to happen a lot on main roster, and it's now happening here. But again, I think it was just COVID issues. Harlan did nothing here. Still hard to determine if he's any good. Honestly, I couldn't tell you at this point. I
remember once, like, he was being touted as the next Brock Lesnar. Now I just
don't know, right? Chase seemed...
I highly doubt it.
And like you said, Chase seemed to be kind of doing babyface stuff here, which was confusing.
Or
and
like,
then...
I don't know, he just feels like out of his element. Like, I'm saying, like, there should be like a babyface there.
It was clearly like they just threw him in there because Kendrick wasn't available. Right. So this was yet another segment that accomplished next to nothing. Legado are backstage asking Elektra Lopez where her loyalties lie. Before she can really answer, Solo Sikoa... This was so dumb. Solo Sikoa walks out of his change room and like kind of interrupts them because they're having a conversation in the hall, like the man's not allowed to leave the change room when they're in the hall. But anyways, Legado demand an apology from Sikoa. Sikoa says some stuff, talks tough, and then a match is made right there. So why can't we finish
We're all our own GM?
We can't finish one story with this group before starting another one. I don't know if maybe they were limited with people and this is what they had to throw together. This is the kind of writing that makes this show feel frantic, right? And unfocused to me. Another example of the talent booking their own matches based on an interaction in the hallway. This brand is so annoying right now. We then get the debut we've all been waiting for, as Tiffany Stratton will be taking on Fallon Henry. And we are told that Tiffany Stratton's nickname, have you heard this? What she calls herself?
What?
The Buff Barbie Doll.
That's awesome.
So, summary of the match: arm work, body slam, shoulder tackle, tumbling routine into a terrible corner clothesline. I've seen a bunch of people say it was a back elbow, but I seem to remember her. Basically, she does the tumbling routine, and she's not confident enough to be sure that she's in the right spot to flow right into whatever the move was. I thought it was a clothesline, maybe a back elbow. So she has to like make a little awkward adjustment at the end. Then guess what her finisher is?
Clothesline.
Flatliner. For the win in 2.5 minutes. It was not good. Stratton is clearly incredibly inexperienced. This shouldn't have been on TV. The character's ridiculous, and now we know that she can't wrestle. Like, of course, she's a gymnast. She's super athletic and powerful, but she can't wrestle. She did almost nothing, and she didn't do any of it well. So this was really bad. Kaylee Ray and Io are warming up backstage ahead of their match. Then we get Tony D'Angelo. He's at home on his couch with his feet up, drinking, talking about how tough he is. He says he introduced Pete Dunne to his friend, the Crowbar, and he's watched it back 1,000 times in slow motion.
He should have said his friend Crowbar, and then they just bring in Crowbar.
Crowbar was sick. Dunne should have never messed with D'Angelo, and if Dunne comes back, the next beating will be so much worse. If he weren't doing the over-the-top accent, this would have been acceptable, but it's hard to take anything he says seriously. He's basically a cartoon character. Oh, and he lost clean to Pete Dunne, right? If you want to remember correctly. So seems to be a detail he's kind of forgotten here, because so you lost the match clean, but attacked him with the crowbar, and that makes you the better wrestler, I guess. So I'm missing something. But it's time for everybody's favorite, a contract signing between Roderick Strong and Carmelo Hayes, with Wade Barrett sort of being the one moderating it. So Bivens starts talking about Hayes having gone missing, and now that's not what an A champion would do. So I'm like, oh my God, is this another guy that's not here? And like, what are they going to do?
Right.
How do you replace this? But Hayes and Williams do come out. Trick Williams says a bunch of things that Roderick Strong doesn't understand. So Bivens steps in and translate basically that Williams called Strong a second-tier champion and that Hayes will win at New Year's Evil, etc., etc. Strong then asks Bivens to tell Hayes that Strong will kick his ass. And I thought this was funny because Bivens translate that's for Williams and Hayes, but he adds a whole bunch of details. So it's like Roddy's saying the most simple, I'm going to kick his ass, and Bivens turns it into more flowery, expressive language, which I thought was funny. Bivens points out that Trick Williams and Hayes are outnumbered right now, and Williams gets angry and talks about how big he is and having an 8-pack and all of this nonsense.
Yes, he's so tall, and that is important.
Bivens says he doesn't get paid enough to translate all night, and Wade Barrett finally tries to rein things in. Hayes speaks now and says he'll put Strong on a t-shirt, and next week he'll unify the belts by any means necessary and truly become the A champion. But I thought you already were the A champion, Carmelo Hayes. That's what you've been telling us for weeks.
He's saying he's not, right now he's not
Doesn't
truly.
really believe what he says.
Right,
interesting.
Not truly.
Strong praises Hayes for saying all that to his face before saying that he will unify the titles and not Hayes. Hayes will be carried out after and will forever be called Humbled Hayes. Ooh. That's the worst insult ever.
That is.
They sign, things get heated. Barrett sort of leaves the ring, looks like he wants no part of it. Bivens mocks Williams for losing to Loomis last week. Williams gets in Bivens' face before being driven through the table by the Creeds, obviously, which I thought was interesting because Carmelo Hayes is just outside the ring at this point and does nothing to try and save Trick Williams. Totally fine if they separate those two for me.
I wouldn't do that either.
No, kill him. Go. I mean, that's a bit too far. I apologize, Trick Williams. I know you're listening.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't encourage it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
So I guess it was an acceptable contract signing, but pretty inconsequential. I don't feel like it added much to the feud. I think Bivens did a really good job. The match could actually be really good, right? Hayes of the new crop is probably my favorite in ring, and Roderick Strong's awesome. So Hayes and Bivens were good on the mic here, but the segment kind of dragged on and didn't do much for me. Somebody had to go through the table, obviously, so Trick Williams and Hayes, again, did nothing about it. I guess Hayes is the heel and Roddy is the face. It's kind of unclear to me.
I guess.
Seems undefined, but I don't really care, so I don't spend much time thinking about it. Solo Sikoa's warming up ahead of his match with Santos Escobar tonight. And then we get a package hyping up the 4 tag teams involved in the quest to be number 1 contenders. And that is Grizzled Young Veterans, Jensen and Briggs, Jacket Time, and the Creeds. Basically, they all get a chance to speak, and surprisingly, they all want to become champions.
That doesn't make sense.
Then we get like a 13-minute, I think, match between Solo Sikoa and Santos Escobar. And my note at the beginning, sure smells like a win by shenanigans for Escobar. No way Sikoa loses clean. So I was partly right and partly wrong. The no way Sikoa loses clean is true, but the part with Escobar winning, not so true.
Why would you ever think a veteran's going to get over?
Really slow start with Escobar applying holds to Sikoa, and I think this is just another time where the veteran kind of has to slow things down for the inexperienced opponent he's got. Sikoa then controls things till they end up on the floor. Distraction by Legado leads Escobar to hitting double knees that send Sikoa into the ring post. Escobar taunts Sikoa. Sikoa blocks a suplex, takes over with strikes and a Samoan drop that actually a decent little sequence there. Till another distraction from Legado shifts the momentum back to Escobar. Zion Quinn, of course, we gotta have as many people at ringside as possible. So he shows up. Escobar dives onto him at ringside, even though he hadn't done anything. He walks then into a super kick once he's back in the ring, and a top rope splash.
Super
and Solo
kick. That's
Sikoa
an Uso move.
Pins Escobar clean in just over the 13 minutes, as I said. Yeah. The match was okay at best. Escobar, I mean, it's frustrating because he can be so dynamic and exciting, but when he's working a match with one of these rookies, he can't really showcase that part of his offense. He had to stick to like submissions and basic stuff. It wasn't very interesting. Like, I don't think Sikoa is bad, but he isn't big enough to be presented as a monster, right? He's basically just another Uso with like 30 extra pounds on him. It's not like...
And he's got like, I don't know, it's weird. He's got such a different like in-ring look from...
It's not like he's Rikishi or something, right? So I don't know.
Looks more like Rikishi, or like his ring gear.
He's probably not quite ready for matches this long. I don't think going from like 2-minute matches to 13 was the move. Maybe like go 5-7 minutes. But anyways, I guess the win continues his momentum. Escobar's loss can add more fuel to his issues with Quinn because he can blame Quinn for that, I guess. So I guess it makes sense, but I don't think the match was great. And just a lot of my notes are like, poor so-and-so, right? So poor Escobar, a lot of like, poor Io Shirai. I'm sure there's a poor Roddy coming up and a poor Pete Dunne, you know, just people who deserve better than this crappy show. Joe Gacy and Harland have chased his student on the roof of the building now. The students basically...
Oh, they're gonna reenact Money in the Bank last year, remember? On the roof of the building?
They tease throwing him off of the roof, and then they just leave him and walk away as he's sort of terrified, whoever this guy is.
It seems like the most pointless thing ever.
Kinda. Solo Sikoa is asked about his win as he walks backstage. I forgot about this. You ready? So Boa attacks Solo Sikoa, applies the Tongan death grip. Something about he accidentally took out the cameraman, right? So then another cameraman takes over, and in that brief moment, we now get Boa not in his makeup. So he attacks with the makeup on, takes out Solo Sikoa.
Oh, face paint.
Right? Sorry, face paint. And then he's there looking confused, like he doesn't know that he attacked without the face paint on. So I guess like, he's doing like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, right?
Well, I was gonna say Green Goblin.
So he's like possessed by the spirit. I kept trouble
I was
talking about this
like,
seriously.
It's like Green Goblin from Spider-Man, because when Norman Osborn, he injects himself with the serum to keep his military contract or whatever,
right?
And so then he gets like booed off the board of directors or whatever. So then like
I've actually seen this one.
The Goblin in him, right? Takes out like the board people and whatnot,
yes.
And like but then like he doesn't. And he even accidentally kills his assistant, but so is the Goblin. He doesn't
right.
remember it. And the same thing actually kind of happens in the new one, too.
Right. So that's what's going on here. And then in classic WWE fashion, because the viewers of the product are idiots, Wade Barrett immediately has to tell us that Boa does not seem to understand the power that he holds. Couldn't let us absorb this and think about it for 2 seconds. Had to immediately tell us what we were supposed to take from that segment. And that, folks, is the exact type of main roster crap that has infected and seeped into this brand as well. NXT used to be the somewhat free. Right. Free of this mostly back when main roster executives just ignored the product entirely, right?
Which was the
Now,
best. That's the best thing for it.
important people, quote unquote, within WWE have their hooks in this show, and this is the crap you get. I miss the black and gold brand so much.
Right. Why is Tian Shaw now just having a 24/7 slumber party instead of this? Like,
she wasn't on this week, so I don't think, unless I missed her little cameo in her pajamas and whatnot.
Yeah, like, I don't know how that's better.
We then get a Braun Breaker Tommaso Ciampa hype video. They talk about War Games. They're both gonna win. This is how the energy I have. We're both gonna win. Yeah. Von Wagner versus Malik Blade. So Robert Stone,
Blade?
whatever it is, somehow continues to orbit around Wagner a little bit.
Why would anyone be interested in Wagner?
Malik Blade continues to be a 2.0 jobber, and Von Wagner continues to be a very basic power wrestler. So Wagner wins in 4 minutes with an angle slam, followed by his double underhook twisting slam. That is,
I hate it so much.
It's kind of lame.
It's so bad. And I would like to say him like trying to look more heel with his beard. That just looks weird.
So that Wagner tries to continue the attack after the match, but Inoue comes down to make the save. And my analysis, exactly what you'd expect from this match, and it's not much. Just watching two guys practicing being wrestlers. Fun stuff. Looks like we'll get an Inoue Wagner rematch. Take my money. Main event time. Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade taking on Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray, with the winners to be in a triple threat for the women's championship, even though it was already made.
Right.
So guess what's going to happen in this match, Chi? Do you think they're changing the match they already made, or just finding a way to keep the match they already made?
I think they're going to change the match,
I
honestly.
wonder. So Jade and Io start off, and my question is, why is Gonzalez wrestling in jeans this week? Anyways,
she's changing character again. She's
a little
going back to her original character.
She was really bad in that tournament, man. That's like the proof how much better she's gotten, because I thought she was awful.
Reina Gonzalez, she was like a jobber.
Later, Kaylee Ray hits a senton off the top to the floor, followed by a moonsault to the floor by Io. We get a nice single leg crab by Kaylee Ray to Cora Jade before Jade counters a KLR bomb into a roll up attempt. We get a snap suplex by Kaylee Ray.
She rolled up Kaylee Ray? How did Kaylee Ray survive?
It's amazing. It is Jade's finisher, so it's surprising. Snap suplex by Kaylee Ray, but Gonzalez pulls Jade out to avoid an Io moonsault. We get the 619 missile drop kick by Io for a near fall, as Jade continues to be the face in peril for a good chunk of this, which is probably the best role for her, no offense. Awful insecurity by Cora Jade leads to Gonzalez hot tag. She obviously cleans house. We get the corner twisting elbow drop by Gonzalez to Kaylee Ray. Powerbomb by Gonzalez. But Jade makes the blind tag, and Gonzalez is pissed because she basically hit her finisher, and Jade tagged herself in. So Gonzalez then catches Io coming off the top, dumps her on the floor, and then, I have this in cap locks because it makes so much sense, stops her teammate from pinning Kaylee Ray and earning her a title shot. Baby faces are so stupid in WWE, right? Like, you can't just swallow your pride for 3 seconds, let this kid
and then
pin
hit her after,
and get your title shot, right?
Yeah,
nope.
You could literally beat her ass after, and then like the same difference.
So the idiotic baby faces argue in the middle of this match. Kaylee Ray shoves Cora Jade into Gonzalez, so Gonzalez falls to the floor. Kaylee Ray rolls up Jade, but Gonzalez recovers, comes back in, shoves Kaylee Ray back, so it kind of forces Cora Jade to counter the roll up, and Cora Jade pins Kaylee Ray with the roll up to earn the title shot for Gonzalez and Jade that they had already earned. So I guess they retain that.
Retaining a title shot that they almost lost because they're idiots.
Right.
That last stretch where you're just saying like someone shoved someone, then they shoved this.
So basically, Gonzalez is on the apron.
Right.
Kaylee Ray shoves Jade into Gonzalez. Gonzalez falls off the apron. So Jade's still against the ropes. Right. Kaylee Ray rolls her up. But as the count is starting, Gonzalez quickly has recovered, gets back in the ring, and shoves the roll-up so that it's countered.
Right, okay.
Right? And then Cora Jade wins by roll-up again. So post-match, Mandy Rose...
at least in War Games, she only won by sudden pin.
Right.
Or random pin, not roll-up.
Mandy Rose pops up to say her plan is working.
What?
This is them trying to explain. So here's their attempt, right?
Soften them up?
No, that Jade and Gonzalez's inability to get along will cost them the match.
It's not a tag match.
But
They don't have to work together in the match.
They're trying, okay, to explain why your mega heel is a fighting champion.
What? That doesn't make sense.
Of course not.
Cause like it's that would be like as if she like why wouldn't she if that's her logic, say I want to defend against them in the handicap match.
Right.
Like
nope.
Her logic doesn't help.
Yep. I would rather face two people than one, and I'm a heel. Smart. Great booking.
Right.
The match actually was decent because a fair portion was Kaylee Ray and Io just dominating Cora Jade. But in the end, the baby faces look stupid.
They're all baby faces.
Which is another main roster problem, right? They just don't know how to do baby faces. They just make them look idiotic. But they picked up the win anyways. Everything Cora Jade does right now looks really awkward and unnatural. Yet, how crazy is it? Would be almost a prediction I'd be willing to make. That she is on the main roster before anyone else in this match. So that Cora Jade is on main roster before Kaylee Ray, before Io, before Gonzalez.
That's not a crazy thing to say.
I mean, it is crazy, but it's not crazy at the same time, right?
Like
the fact that it's not crazy
like,
is crazy.
Right. It's like it's not crazy for them, but in like a general sense,
yes.
It's crazy.
I did like that they at least tried to explain why Mandy's looking like a heel fighting champion. Not that it really made sense.
Even though they did a crap job.
So that's what I have. I guess this was her plan all along, to fight two women who will get in each other's way. I don't know. Surprisingly, another bad wrestling show. This week, no matches I really enjoyed. Like, the main event was decent, but it wasn't good. Last week, there was one good match. The 2 weeks before that, there were two good matches. So things are not moving in the right direction. Honestly, nothing of consequence, I don't think, on this show, other than if you were curious to see Tiffany Stratton's debut. There's nothing that I'll remember from this show in a couple weeks. When the focus is on making talent...
Are you saying Von Wagner's not memorable?
No.
How dare you, sir?
When the focus is making talent who aren't very good look good, it leads to a really boring show, right? WWE struggles with storylines and character development, especially baby faces, which is nothing new. But now we don't even get good wrestling to sort of buffer the bad storytelling, right? So we're now watching people learn on the job, while experienced talents who we know are good rein in their talent to match the level of the new talent. So that just makes the
talented people are basically being less talented.
Right, because they have to be, because the other people can't hang with them, so they have to dial it back. And it just makes for a bad product right now. I don't know what else to say. I can't pass this week since none of the wrestling was really good, right? So they're getting an F from me, like 4 out of 10. So it wasn't like a 0, but I can't pass it when none of the matches were good and the segments are always garbage. So you fail this week.
Yay!
You fail, failures. Let's see, what else? We getting into the preview, I guess?
Yeah.
Yes. So I haven't really thought about these.
I actually haven't either.
I looked at the card, so I've thought briefly, but let's talk about a preview for, what is it called? Day one? I can't remember. So day one preview, if any of these matches actually happen.
Right.
What do we
so
got?
I'll start from the bottom up. On the kickoff, Cesaro and Ricochet versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. That's a joke, because Cesaro and Ricochet will never do anything, so I'm taking Sheamus and Holland.
Of course, because Holland is the young guy they want to try and build, so they're going to have him.
And they've proven time and again that they don't like Cesaro or Ricochet.
Oh, they hate Ricochet. Cesaro they only like when they need him to do something.
Right.
Yep.
And another really tough one to pick. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. That's not a kickoff match somehow?
Why am I even thinking about this? Because they're crazy, but I'll take Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, like that's... I don't even know why that's... Dare I say I'd rather Corbin?
And I assume that Moss isn't like being pushed right now, right? I don't really know.
No, he's Baron Corbin's sidekick.
Okay, so I'll take Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. Remember him in Sabatelli?
Yep. Remember, I thought Tino Sabatelli was like main roster guaranteed like star, and not because he was amazing in the ring, but because look at the guy, right? He was like super chiseled, reminded me of like a Cena kind of deal. But anyways, I was wrong.
Well for him. Edge versus The Miz.
Edge versus Miz.
Edge.
I'll take Edge.
Like, Miz hasn't been doing much.
That's what I thought. Right.
And Edge is Edge.
Edge is Edge, and they seem to like him, so I'll say Edge. And I mean, obviously, it's leading to them and their wives facing off at some point. But
WrestleMania, baby.
Probably, yeah.
RK Bro versus the winners of the RK Bro tournament. Yep, that was a thing. The Street Profits. Yeah, number one contenders thing was called the RK Bro tournament.
There's no way that there's this much focus on Riddle and Randy Orton, and that they're losing at this point. And Street Profits have kind of.
They've had decent runs with both tag titles.
So I don't think they're getting another one.
Don't really.
Nope. RK Bro.
Match number 5002. The Usos versus the New Day.
Usos are champions, right?
Yes.
They retain.
Yeah, I agree.
I believe.
And the thing for me is, that King of the Ring win really did a lot for Woods, eh?
A ton.
He's shot up the card.
Oh yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
Oh yeah. He's just been. I mean, he's number one contender for everything.
At first, he was like a little singles, but then now he's just back in the same spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That's funny.
Yep.
It's like they gave him his moment to be like, see, they got WWE title wins. He's getting King of the Ring, and then
sink
it's just
right
nothing.
Back. Yep. Because Big E and Kofi have had major things, so here's yours.
Right, and the thing with that is like, the people are saying like, Woods should get his moment eventually, but like, see where I think it worked out perfectly for Woods Kingston and Big E. Like they both made sense. It was both like their times. Whereas Woods, like, I don't feasibly see him as ever really a main eventer.
Kingston, like, the crowd was just demanding it, and they actually gave in.
He's like pretty good, and like he's the kind of Daniel Bryan-esque guy who could be in the main event. And Big E's
awesome, like exactly what they want.
Right. So and Woods, he's just not. He's not enough of Kofi, and he's definitely not Big E. So I don't know. He's like, I don't know. It's just funny.
I think they don't see him as serious enough either, right? Is part of his problem.
I mean, Big E's not serious.
He's comedy guy. He can be though.
Right. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah. I don't.
Oh, really? You think it's Liv's time? I mean, you are biased because you think she's amazing, right? She's your favorite wrestler, so we have to identify your bias.
I feel like
here.
This could be where they go with her.
Do it.
They didn't do it on
do
Raw.
it, just so it would make it different.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess I'll take Liv.
No, watch. That'll be the match that I lose. But anyway, I'm proud of you for.
That's fine. I'll probably
supporting your favorite wrestler. You're wearing a Liv Morgan T-shirt right now.
Yeah, definitely not.
What are you actually wearing? Undisputed Era. Nice.
Maybe. Oh, I got an armband on the shelf. Yeah.
And I'm wearing a poker tank top because it came straight from a workout, basically.
So I'm not really sure which way to go on this one because it's a pretty fresh matchup.
Oh God, what is it?
So I'm interested to see how this goes because I think these guys could have a potentially like an early match of the year candidate, as early as you can get for a match of the year candidate, technically.
Okay.
And because it's a pretty fresh matchup. No, it's Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh boy. I will take. Interesting. Do you think they'll take the belt off him yet? I'll say no. It's Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't think I can bet against Roman right now, especially when it's Brock Lesnar looking like a weird farmer dude.
Hey, he's a good Canadian boy now.
How
lives
dare
in Saskatchewan, you know?
That doesn't mean crap.
He lives out where Corner Gas is. Possibly.
You really don't
look it up, people. If you don't know Corner Gas. Yeah. Great show. Great Canadian show.
Love it.
Yep.
And the last one. Big E, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Lashley. I really want to take Rollins for some reason.
I would love to take Owens, but I'm going to take Big E. I feel like this is holding pattern pay-per-view. Because it's kind of out of the blue. It's not one of their normal pay-per-views, so I feel
but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like
they're going to change nothing.
Big E's had a decent run. I mean, I could see it going longer. And it's like, it's kind of like a New Year's thing, right?
Yeah.
So
I'll take Big E. Take a risk if you want.
Yeah, I don't really. Or Seth Rollins.
Is he even there?
Right. Right. I don't know. I could see like there's like that little chance that they just like go like swerve Kevin Owens or something. You know what I mean?
I would love that.
I think it's definitely not Lashley because he had.
I've heard that Owens is like the only entertaining thing right now. Yeah. Actually, that Rollins, since he's been attached to Owens, is a lot better too. Is my understanding.
Yeah. I don't know. See, I kind of want to take Rollins, but I also kind of want to take Owens. I don't really care about this, so I'm just trying to be more interesting. I'm not going to pick Big E, so I'm trying to think who, since I don't know what Rollins' situation is.
I'll take Finn Balor when Rollins is out. They're going to replace him with Balor.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I'll take Big E still.
That's not a terrible
idea. Right? Imagine that comes true.
It could be Balor.
It's documented.
It is documented. I guess I'll take Owens. Why not? That
nice.
just seems fun, and I think that'd be really cool for him if that. It's just on the off chance it happens.
So, how many matches are on the card? Because that was the last one, right?
Yep.
Bonus question to predict.
8.
Okay. So of the 8 matches,
Okay.
how many are
okay.
not? How many are not what
I'll
has
add this
been
in. How many get
publicized?
changed?
Right.
Okay. Let's see. So.
Because
Alright.
Rollins might not be
So
there.
I think Rollins might not be there. So let's count at least one for the main event.
But you make your prediction.
Let me think.
Because this is gonna count. We'll see who's right.
I could see McIntyre versus Moss getting either moved or changed. So I'm gonna go with that as a second potential one. And then, let me think. Miz has kind of issues before. No. Okay, I'm gonna go 2.
That's what I was gonna say 2. I was gonna pick 2 as well, but I won't. So I'll go.
I was thinking maybe like Usos just get a random DUI
on the way to the stadium.
It's funny.
It's not funny. Those idiots should have a driver. But anyways, I either want to take 1 or 3.
I feel like
I'll go on a limb. I'll say 3.
3?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I could see I remember Miz got a little sick last year. Remember they had that weird triple threat singles.
And I'm rooting for chaos, so I'm gonna go 3.
You're rooting for chaos.
I am rooting for chaos.
For some reason, I instantly thought of New Japan chaos.
Nice. So I guess that's it for any other wrestling business.
Indeed.
And we are going to move into our final segment where Jack updates us from the world of wrestling action figures, and that's what we call figuring it out with Jack.
So there were some reveals and stuff, and then I'll also talk about my Christmas stuff.
Your Christmas
haul. Indeed.
Yep.
So the first thing I had was they put out the lineup, and it's available for pre-order on Ringside. Basic 129. Dominic Mysterio, yay.
Mm-hmm.
Carmella, yay. The Miz.
Wow.
Sure.
What a lineup.
Roman Reigns.
Fine.
And
figure number
Noam
9,000.
Dar, which is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Noam Dar's cool.
That's surprising. The Chase variant's actually unknown, which I think is kind of odd. I would like it to be Noam Dar just because he's new, so then that gets him like 2 figures, right? So I think that'd be cool. I'll probably get that Noam Dar if I ever see it, just to add another person, right?
Because you haven't seen him yet since we've been watching UK, right?
I saw him like a little, but
he's cool.
So then they also put out Ultimate Edition 12 is up for pre-order. They includes that Alexa Bliss that they already showed like renders and stuff of, and then also the Fiend, which I thought was very interesting.
I've heard of him.
It was originally supposed to be Batista, but that Ultimate Edition Batista is now a Legends one. I think it's an Amazon exclusive. And so now it's being replaced by main eventer in WWE, The Fiend, right? And the picture is from WrestleMania 37, so I'm hoping it's that version of The Fiend with the different masks,
right?
Because I think that'd be actually kind of cool.
Yep.
Then we have the Bend and Bash Series 2, like the ones with like the stretch arms.
Right.
They're just stupid. That's all I can really say about them. But you have Undertaker, Kofi, Drew McIntyre, and Lashley, and that's all I'm going to say about those.
Nice.
And then we got like a few like they call them sneak preview images for Elite 93. So like it's like one image every figure, so you don't get to see like a lot, but you get like the general gist of these new elites. And I'm just kind of trying to pull them up. But so first there is Seth Rollins, which I thought was pretty nice from WrestleMania 37. So I'll always take a new Rollins. I was hoping for like a older Rollins, maybe a Thanos Rollins, which I still want.
Oh my god, the Thanos Rollins. Let it go, man.
Or a
Let
Quantum Suit Rollins would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But so this is the Rollins from Mania, but it's like they embrace the Vision Rollins in the red gear, which I think is nice.
The physique looks like Trent. Looks too ripped.
The head scan, the expression's a little weird. It's another man bun one, which he didn't even have a man bun at Mania, so it's kind of lame that they included a man bun sculpt.
Right.
So I mean that kind of sucks, but at least now you can just take it off. I mean,
true.
There's no other interchangeable heads Seth Rollins, so you still have to heat one up, but easier, I guess. Then there's also Cesaro, which I believe is also from the same Mania. And he's got like a nice soft goods jacket, which I think is really nice.
Cool.
It's a pretty nice Cesaro. The Rollins has the rubber jacket, which is always crap, like, because then you really can't do much with those.
They're a pain to get off, even. Right,
that's the thing. They're so awful to get off, and they never want to put it back on.
Right.
Then we also have a nice looking Raquel Gonzalez. I think that's really nice. Looks pretty spot on.
Yeah, that looks good.
I really like that. And then T-Bar.
Great. Congratulations, T-Bar.
And then chiseled jaw Ricky Steamboat. Look at that head. It's just so weird.
The head looks big.
I know, and he's got like, look at his jaw. It's just so weird.
Square.
Yeah, there's the white tights and then the yellow tights one. WCW TV title is kind of neat though.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then we have the basic top picks 2023 line, which is just it's Roman Reigns, Undertaker, and Bray Wyatt. And so it's kind of interesting because Bray Wyatt, it's the Funhouse Bray, right? But it's a re-release from Basic Series 112.
Yep.
So over 10 series. Then there's Undertaker, which is a re-release of Basic 117. So that's like a re-release of 10 series.
Right.
And then the Roman Reigns is a re-release of Basic 121, so that's like a few series as well. So all three of those are re-releases and they're basic, so double gross. And then there's the Elite Top Picks 2023, which they showed. There's Undertaker from the Boneyard match, which is a re-release of Elite 85. Not super interesting. Then there's an Attitude Era version of The Rock. It's got like the silver lettering with the blue outline. The only thing interesting about it is that it comes with like I think it's like a hockey jersey or something style shirt or whatever. It's like this Rock kind of jersey style shirt or whatever. So that's kind of interesting. And then there's this pink tight black singlet Rey Mysterio, which I think is kind of nice actually. That's probably the only thing of interest there. The Rock and Rey Mysterio are new, but only Rey Mysterio is somewhat interesting even. Then they're continuing with those crappy Showdown 2-packs. I wish they'd just go back to normal battle packs with accessories, because sometimes they had like cool accessories or like, and now you can only get like people who are in title matches, and a lot of the times it's just like old wrestlers, right? Like for example, Undertaker Bret Hart from SummerSlam 97, right? Like I feel like the battle packs are a cool way to get new tag teams in the line, just like you get some neat accessories. Like I remember wanting to get that Andrade Zelina Vega battle pack to get like new people, and I got like a La Sombra mask, like that was cool, right? Stuff like that. And so now the battle packs are just like, they got these boring action stand things, like it's just kind of dumb. Then there's a Blue Gear Street Profits. They've somehow made it into this line twice now, so that's kind of interesting. And then there's Drew McIntyre versus MMA Shorts Goldberg from Royal Rumble.
Nice.
So glad they got that in figure form. I was worried they wouldn't get it. And then there's some images for Basic Series 128. There's this Edge with a gray painted on Earn Your Scar shirt. It's a man bun Edge, so that's the only thing interesting. Other than that, I don't care. Black singlet Big E, that's alright.
That's cool.
Promo gear Sasha Banks,
nice.
Alright. Then there's the Raul Mendoza from Halloween Havoc with the Day of the Dead face paint.
Yep.
And he comes with
a suit. And
he comes with the mask.
Cool.
Yeah, in a suit. And speaking of suits, we actually got this a promo gear MVP in a gray suit, which I think that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then the Chase variant is it's Raul Mendoza. It's the same one, just without face paint.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you should go the other way. Like the easy one to get is no face paint, and then face paint is the Chase variant.
Right.
But whatever. And then that brings us to my Christmas stuff, and I'm going purely off of memory.
Okay. So again, forgive him. He's spoiled. His parents indulge his collector tendencies and other relatives and himself when he has money. So go ahead, run down what you got.
Two of the ones I got, actually, I had them with me. I got Santana and Ortiz from Unmatched Series 2, so that's kind of cool.
Yep.
And it was funny because I also got Santana and Ortiz from AEW Unrivaled 4, so I got two Santanas and Ortizes.
Because suddenly AEW figures are around us, right? So it's interesting because I listen to podcasts in the States and they're like, they can't find any anywhere other than ordering them.
I used to be the same, honestly.
But now suddenly, because I hit that obscure one in Oshawa, right? And it was full.
Even our Walmart had like Series 4 and Series 5, actually.
I think if you push far enough out of the heavily populated areas, you got a pretty good chance because people don't hit those stores, right?
Right. So I got two Santanas, two Ortizes. I got the Elite 88 Roman Reigns I really wanted, which is the gold gauntlet updated back tattoo one from.
Yes, heard lots about that back tattoo
from Hell in a Cell. Yeah, so that one's pretty nice. Let me think. Oh, I got like basically the entirety of AEW Unrivaled Series 4. I already mentioned Santana Ortiz, but also got a duplicate Kenny Omega, which is to be returned.
Right.
And then I also got Sammy Guevara, was pretty nice. I got Cody Rhodes and Matthew Hardy, and then I also got a Series 6 MJF.
Yep.
From Unrivaled. So
I grabbed that one as soon as I saw it.
That was pretty cool.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if oh, yeah, and then one of the last ones I got is I actually still have them with me, is I got a basic Series 125 Isaiah's First Scott. I got the normal one and the Chase one. But Ringside has once again sent me an extra, so I have two copies of the Chase variant.
So you got two Chase, that's cool.
Yeah, so I've got one right here. It's the red one is the Chase variant, so I got another one in the package.
So one staying in the box, right?
Yep. normally I don't care about basics, but this is his first time in the line and his last time in the line.
That's
so
right. Exactly.
Cool to get him. And it's funny because that's the second time I've gotten an extra because I still have him sitting here. I still got my ringside exclusive Elite Walter here because I accidentally got sent 2, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So now, yeah, I've got extra Swerve, which is kind of cool because it's his only figure.
With the amount they charge us in duty and exchange, they can give us an extra figure. Not that it's their fault, but
no,
I don't feel bad about getting the odd extra figure.
Yeah, I just think it's funny too how that happens, unless they do it on purpose. And in that case, thanks. But if they don't, then that is freaking hilarious.
Yep.
And then, so the next day, my mom was going to
return
Richmond
stuff
Hill.
as she does after Christmas.
We went to like this mall. They didn't have much there. There was this there's this it's Playtime Toys or whatever, right? It replaced Toys, and I actually forgot to show you these, but they had these Hot Wheels like monster trucks.
Yeah.
Like it was like kind of like the Monster Jam ones, but like they're kind of like the big style ones, but not quite. But anyways, they're like these old WWE monster trucks.
Nice.
Like they're not current.
No,
you
not
can
at
tell,
all.
but it was pretty funny. So I saw those. Anyways, and then we went to a Walmart after, and they had Series 5, and so we already mentioned you
duplicates we had to exchange.
Ups.
Yes.
You guys had 3 to return, so I got 5 figures from AEW Unrivaled Series 5. 2 of which came out of my own pocket.
Yep.
So I got
Finally.
here, right with me. I got a Hangman, which is it's a long tights Hangman, which I really wanted because it has better boots.
Yep.
And it's just another Hangman. Then I also got Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. So that was pretty nice. I got a John Moxley, who I don't have yet. I have a Dean Ambrose, but I don't have him as Mox yet. And then I got Scorpio Sky as well. I didn't get Kaz because so they have Series 5 as well at our local Walmart, but the one that they didn't have there was Mox. So I got Mox over Kaz because Mox is cooler, and also we don't have
Kaz?
Mox. I did. I was also afraid to buy Kaz because last time I snapped his leg off, which may be partly my fault for just bending it too far.
Scorpio
but,
Sky should have come with the Sonic ring. They missed an opportunity.
That is true. All right, he did come with the tag titles. That's nice. Now I have 2 tag titles because we managed to keep the tag title from. And it's funny. The only reason I have a duplicate Kenny is because Kenny is the figure I bought when we returned Kaz. So if I kept Kaz, Kenny would be a new one. That's funny.
Nice.
Yeah, but yes.
That's everything?
Much stuff.
Not a stuff, yes. You did well.
Yes, I also got some Lego.
You did. I guess that's bringing us to the end of episode 76. I think we'll be the next couple days maybe with our worst of, right? I'll start taking a look at that and filling in my ballot. And then obviously we'll be back here next Saturday for episode 77. So we look forward to seeing you all back as soon as we can. We hope everyone's doing really well, had a great New Year's, and that 2022 treats us a little bit better than the last couple of years have. We can always
kind of has to, I think.
We can always hope for the best. But anyways, we'll see you when we see you next. And until then, take care.